Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again on another wild, crazy, just action-packed, death-defying edition of Crime and Sports. And this is an insane one. It's a crime that no one's ever done on our show before.
Really?
Every once in a while, we have a new crime where we're like, well, no one ever thought of that before out of these, everybody.
The first 5 were like that.
Well, always, yeah. But 172 episodes in, this is episode 173. You think you've encountered any crazy shit that anybody could muster, but nope. We found a new attempt at insanity today that we'll talk about. Just a crazy show ahead of us. But before we get into that, just got to thank everyone, first of all, for all of your reviews this week. Apple Podcasts, the purple icon, whatever the hell that is. Please, those help a lot. So if you haven't done it yet, please give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. Say you're following instructions, following directions. We know it's a pain in the ass. You got to sign in or whatever, but it helps a lot. It really does. It helps drive us up the charts. We don't know why it helps drive us up the charts. They're not our charts. Right. We have no idea. We just know that that's what happens. So when you give us reviews, it helps and we go up, and then people find us, and then the show gets more popular, and that helps everybody out there. So, well, us anyway, not really you. Well, you, because then we're more excited for the show. Yeah. So it's good. The more people are listening, the more excited we are, damn it.
That's more live shows they can get booked.
That's what I'm talking about. We can come to you with that. Speaking of that, what you need to do is head to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder. If you're not listening to Small Town Murder, I don't know what you're doing, because it's hilarious. It's so much fun. It's this with murder in a small town. So every week. So really check that out if you haven't done it yet. Otherwise, you're missing out hardcore. Tons of merchandise, new stuff up all the time, and there's always a ton of new stuff merchandise wise. Also, tickets to live shows for Small Town Murder for the rest of the year. We're going to be in San Diego and LA next in September. So come out to that. Even if you're not a Small Town Murder listener, you're a Crime and Sports listener, come out to the show. It's a wild riot. It's fun. You'd go out to some stand-up show of somebody you didn't know at a comedy club, and we're telling you, even if it's a comic that you know and is hilarious, this show is way funnier than that. It's 2 of us, plus it's 2 people, plus a story, plus visuals going on with the pictures. That it's almost not even fair. Right. It's not, no guy standing there with a microphone can't compete with that.
It's hard to paint that picture verbally.
It's ridiculous. So it's really fun. Come out and see our damn live show. Do that.
Truly, James builds something really special and unique for you guys, and I love watching it every time.
Blast.
I can't wait to see you guys.
Jimmy gets drunk and laughs and makes dick jokes like crazy. That was Jimmy almost peed his pants in Minneapolis. If the show ended 3 minutes later, we would have been in a puddle. I would have had to tell him to hold his microphone away from the water. Because
it was raining outside. It would have been raining inside also.
Absolutely. So, yeah, do that. Come out to a show. See us. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Crime and Sports in Phoenix is sold out, but we do have a couple in the works for 2020. Don't worry. We have you guys in mind. Do that. If you want to be a hero of ours, a legend in our minds, and people we talk about and gush at the end of the show, one of our producers, that is very, very easy to do. You can do that by going to patreon.com Patreon.com, obviously. Patreon.com.
Yes.
Like a hiccup there.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/crimeinsports, or you can head over to PayPal and use our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. And you can get to any of those right from the website, which is
shutupandgivememurder.com.
Right, Jimmy, you got it. You got it. That said, I think it's time to get started here.
Okay.
I think it's time because we have a wild story, and it's thick, and we're going to try not to make it too long. Trying to make them as concise as possible here. Let's start off here. Let's do it. It's a baseball player.
Great.
It's going to be fun right away. It's a baseball player. Normally, baseball players, they're not the most violent of our. It's not a brain damage sport, generally.
Keep it mellow.
They keep it a little mellow. Some DUIs, a lot of cocaine,
tons of
going on, stuff like that. But this guy, completely different shit here. This is a whole other type of deal here. Let's talk about Ugueth Urbina.
Oh.
You know who he is?
He was in the news, but I don't know what for.
He pitched for like 15 years up until like 2005.
Yeah. I remember when he played for the Expos.
He did.
Did he?
He actually played for the Expos. You know how excited I was knowing that he spent the first 5 years of his career with the Expos? It's like, Jimmy's going to say the Expos, and it's going to be right for once.
And I was completely bullshitting.
Oh, yes, I
don't remember him being there.
I can't believe you. He was he's an all-star. He's a really good player.
Right.
It's Ugueth, actually, but there's an H on the end, so you want to say Ugueth really bad.
It's Ugueth.
Ugueth Urbina.
Okay.
Triple U.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an interesting.
That is U.
Villarreal after that, too, because that's his mother's name, and that's South America. He's from Venezuela.
Got it.
And that's how they do it down there, apparently. He's from Caracas, Venezuela, as a matter of fact. Born February 15th, 1974. This is crazy. He's Ugueth Urbina. Ugueth. You're correcting me now. You didn't hear. All you knew 5 seconds ago is he played for the Expos.
And I didn't even know that.
His brothers are named Ulmer, Utah.
What?
Or Utah, probably, but spelled like the state Utah.
Yeah.
And Ulysses Ulces.
What does she love about the letter U?
Ulmer, Utah, Urbina, Ulysses Ulces Urbina, and Ugueth Urbina.
Was Ugueth the last one? Was he the baby?
No, I think he's a middle, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
She got 2 names out and then got to Ugueth?
I don't know what family names. I have no idea. Well, we're not Venezuelan.
That's a good point.
I don't know how Ulmer is a name either.
That's a good point.
And he named your kid Utah. Okay. Is she aware of Salt Lake City? I don't think she's ever been or knows about Salt Lake City at all when this happened in the 70s.
I don't think she realized that when she landed on the letter U that there are very few names. You got to start making up words.
It was like fucking Book of Mormon, and it was like, she's like, Utah. That's just her dream to, sorry. You have to see Book of Mormon to know.
I love the word Utah.
So he's a right-handed pitcher, obviously. He starts playing very young in Venezuela. I mean, this before, now there's like sort of a draft system, and it's a different type of deal, but this is Wild West.
Yeah.
Scouts go through the third world looking for children who are good at sports, and they give them money from an early age, and they, way before, because you're allowed to sign at 16 in baseball, which is hilarious because like football, you have to have 3 years of college to fucking qualify for the NFL.
It's even more hilarious that at 16 you legally can't sign shit.
That's the other thing. But they can get you at 16. Well, hockey, it's like you could out of the womb. Yeah. If you're, he looks like he's got good strong calves on him. Now we're gonna put a stick in his hand.
Soccer is very familiar.
Soccer, as we know,
Strong
8 years old. They're on the 8 years old. They sign him to the junior teams overseas and shit like that. Tennis, we had the Capriati thing. I mean, that was insanity. There's a world famous kid at 14, which is not okay. For sports, it's a lot of pressure.
Football and basketball, you better get some college.
That's
you
right.
Better go.
That's for 1 year for basketball. What's different about those sports? What's the one thing that's different about those sports than tennis and golf and hockey and even especially baseball back then? What's different?
What is it?
What's the one thing about it that's just way different as far as?
Is this the black guys?
Oh no, I don't think so. No, it can't be, Jimmy. It can't be. That's a glib answer, Jimmy. Very glib.
Could those white men be very threatened by paying a black man a bunch of money real early?
I think it's, and people are going to be pissed off because there's people that won't think this, but you know what? That's what it is. Well, it's funny because if you watch the guy who the NCAA, the guy who started the NCAA,
I almost didn't want to say that, by the way, because I didn't want to have an Andrew Jackson thing.
No, that was you're going the opposite way. Well, yeah, you went the opposite way with it, and people will be like, "Oh, for Christ's sake!" But no, it's It's actually true. And even the guy who was the head of the NCAA in the 50s when they started the whole amateur athlete poor shit, he came out in the 80s and said, this is fucking crazy now. In the 50s, it wasn't a business like this. This is bonkers. You're fucking, all this is people that support these colleges. They're in a lot of regions where people don't want to see young fucking black kids make more money than them to play for college. That's all it is. He's like, that's what it is. And if you think it's anything else, you're out of your fucking mind. I started this and I watched this develop over the years, and now it's batshit.
It's ridiculous.
And that's the guy who started it.
The guy that started it's like, you guys, it's far too obvious now.
True.
Why are we doing this?
It's a true thing. And then we're going to piss people off, I understand, by saying that, because we don't get into politics of it. And that's not politics. That's just facts. That's the facts of what happened. They were like, we're not paying these fucking kids. And it's a power balance. That's a different thing.
They hate a black kid with big diamond earrings.
Well,
it
yes.
hurts them.
And especially we're talking about then, and now it's just lingered on through. But in the South America and in Cuba and in Dominican and these countries, not Cuba, because we weren't allowed to go there really in Scout, unless you're Costanza for the Yankees and you've declared your communism. Otherwise, Seinfeld references coming out like crazy. Otherwise, with this, it was scouts just go in and find children who throw things hard and then give them money and hope to get them and
whip this coconut kid.
Hope to buy them at some point and bring them to the States.
Unbelievable.
And for the kids that make it, it's terrific because otherwise they would have never gotten found.
And their families get taken care of.
A lot of these kids, it's kind of rough because there's a lot of predatory people also. With a lot of these agents, with a lot of these not agencies, scouts coming down, then you get local agents who are shitheel agents who then say, like, if you do this, then you owe me. I'll hook you up with a major league scout, but then you're going to owe me 50% of your salary and shit. So there was a lot of shady dealings down there with, basically they're like baseball warlords. These agents down there in some of these places. But he starts as a kid in Venezuela playing, and he is signed July 2nd, 1990. So at 16 years old, he signed as an amateur free agent, no drafting necessary back then, with the Montreal Expos. And the Expos had one of the premier scouting departments there ever was.
They had some great rookies.
Think about the 90s and the people that they brought in, starting in the late 80s. Randy Johnson. I know he's not a third world player, but scouting wise, Randy Johnson, Larry Walker, Pedro Martinez, the Urbinas of DeShields and Grissom and all these guys. There was a stack of guys. They had supplied Vlad Guerrero. They found, Vlad Guerrero, you could see from space hitting fucking balls that bounce in the dirt 400 feet. He's insane. But I mean, they signed a lot of these guys. They really had the third world and the islands on lockdown.
Smart.
When it came to shit. Yeah, I mean,
nobody else is looking there.
And then they wouldn't sign these people because their Expos were a poor team, and then they went all over the league. All these teams, you can say, all these guys started with the Expos.
Places.
And even guys like Cliff Floyd and guys like that. I mean, they started with the Expos. So he goes in 1991.
Is that why I always think they played for the Expos?
Most of them
see so many people in an Expos jersey.
If they're an all-star, they might have started with the Expos. That's the thing. So he goes to the minor leagues, to the Gulf Coast League in Florida there in 1991. So he's 17 years old.
Unbelievable.
And he's leaving home.
Living a dream.
To go play baseball in Florida, which at least it's, at least they didn't send him to like Wisconsin or something where he'd been like, wow, this is way different.
For the Twins.
Yeah.
Stuck in fucking Minneapolis.
Yeah. People speak Spanish down there. It's a different story, at least. He's still, it's better there. Now on his rookie team here in 91 with the minor leagues, on that team was Cliff Floyd, Kirk Reeder, who's a star for the Giants after that, another guy that started with the Expos, Antonio Alfonseca, who's a six-fingered guy who was a good reliever for a long time. They were all on this team. So they had a pretty solid team here. 91, he's a starter the first couple of years. They start him, which happens a lot. Most relievers come in as starters, even to the majors. Mariano Rivera's rookie year was mostly a starter. Before his first year up, they started him most of the time. Then moved him to middle relief.
It's almost less work being a starter than it is to be a reliever.
It's starter. Put it this way: starter, when you're pitching. Yeah. So you have a routine. You can
mentally, it's easier.
You can get a routine. Right. This day I throw, this day I rest, this day I do this, and then I'm up, and then you have a thing. Whereas relievers, you can go 6 days without playing, and then you can be out there 3-4 days in a row. Like my friend Rod.
Throw 3-4 innings each game.
Rod had a record for consecutive appearances.
Really?
It was like 11 straight games.
Fuck, man.
That was shocking. That is, 2 years later, he had complete reconstructive surgery. But it was 11 straight games where he was, crazy. I think it was 11 where he came, it might have been 13, I'm not sure. But that's insane, though, to pitch 11 straight games. And there was doubleheaders in there. There was a doubleheader in the middle of that, too. So he pitched twice in the same day.
Yeah.
So that's get warmed up, pitch, cool off, then do it again 3 hours later, which is not good for your arm.
No, not at all.
So, anyway, that's how that works. But, a lot of them started like that. So then that's rookie league. Next year he goes up to Albany, and he's 7-13, wins and losses there, 3.22 ERA. So, he's promising right away. 93, right in the beginning of that season when he's in Harrisburg, which is where everybody wants to be.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Harrisburg on May 31st, 1993, he has a son. So a son is born. Juan is his
good
name.
Boy.
So no U's.
Well done.
No U's here.
I mean, there's kind of a U there.
Yeah, but it's not the first of the fucking. Yeah, it's not you. Right. Damn it! He broke the chain, and I salute you for that. You. At this point, Ugueth is fucking doing fine.
He's on board.
He's really doing great. Goes up to Burlington. Also, I believe that's Vermont, but I'm not sure. That's in the Midwest League, so Burlington
could be.
There's a million Burlingtons. It could be Wisconsin. It could be
the coat factory.
It could be just outside in the park. It's just a ball, so it really could be the coat factory. You could just be outside in the concrete.
Just in the back alley, just whipping balls against the wall.
Watch out! Now the ball bounces. It really skips through the infield pretty quick with these asphalt playing fields we're doing now. And watch, there's a Toyota Celica, about a 97, out in right center. So if you hit if a guy, just watch out. If you're tracking a ball, make sure you don't run into it because that'll hurt.
Just whacking them off the loading dock.
That's all there is. So then 1994, he's brought up to, Harrisburg he's brought up at the end of 1993, and he goes 4-5 with a 3.99 ERA. And then 94, he goes 9-3 there in Harrisburg. It's AA, 3.28 ERA. So he's showing he's doing well. And AA is where the talent is. AAA is kind of a train station for
in and out,
going up, going down, or guys who are never going anywhere. One of the three.
It's like the 11th floor of a 20-floor building.
Yeah. Guys that are not going anywhere but are too old to stick an A ball because it'd be weird to have them hanging out with 18-year-olds. So they just put them up there, and they're kind of part, the 4A is what they call them. Not good enough for the majors, but, fine in AAA. So May 8th, 1994, here, he has a little issue here. He says he is. I found this in Sports Illustrated too. There's a pretty cool little article here in Sports Illustrated in their vault thing. May 8th, 1994. This happened. His manager here, a guy named Dave Jouse, came to his motel room, and he said he's been pitching shittily lately, and thought he was getting sent back down to A, because that's what happens. You get a knock on your door, and manager wants to see you, type of thing. But instead, there's a different thing. They tell him that actually your father, whose name is Juan, that's who he named his son after, has been shot and killed down in Venezuela.
Yeah.
So that's a rough thing. And you got to understand, too. I mean, he's fucking 20 years old still at this point. He's still a kid. I guess there was an attempt. It was like a home invasion. Somebody came to his house and tried to...
They knew he was playing ball.
Tried to rob his dad. I don't even know if that's the case because he wasn't really making much money yet, as we'll find out.
Well, how do they don't know that, though?
They don't know that. It's just, dude, we'll talk more about Venezuela and especially in the 90s. And,
Jesus.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. Players that make money, they go, I want to go down there and I want to spend my off season. I go down for 2 weeks to see my family. I don't leave my house.
Right.
They have to hire security guards to stay at their house, and they can't leave because it's too fucking dangerous. People know who they are. They know they have... The money they're making is more than you could even imagine. It's like they're billionaires to these people down there, and they're just going to, wander through unfettered. And he said most of the guys that go down there, they have to hire big security staffs. And
even if you don't have money on you, it's dangerous. They'll kidnap you.
That's the problem. That's what we'll talk about a lot in this, because that's the thing is your family's still down there. And a lot of times you can't bring your whole family here for immigration reasons and things like that. So they're down there, and now they're not safe and you can't protect them because you're here, and then you can hire security forces, and then, you're paying half your salary to protect your family in some country. It's crazy. So
it's nuts that you could be buying a house. You could use that money to buy a house and then some stuff.
Yeah, you could make their lives better, and you do that, but then you also have to protect it because someone else is going to take it.
But if they could get them here, they could buy them a house and everything would be fine.
Move them to Utah, and they'd be perfectly fine. Just Salt Lake City, man, and they're fucking fine. And move them there, and they're not going to. No one's home invading them there. It's fine. They'll just sit around and go, that family speaks Spanish. I think they do. I bet we can convert them. I'll not you. Okay, we'll all go together.
Have you heard the good news?
Have you heard? Huh? Okay.
Unbelievable.
That's fucking amazing. So, he was very affected very badly by this, and this makes him angry for the next few years. They all say he's, he'll admit it later on that after his dad died, he was angry. He's angry with the world, basically. He's pissed off, and there seemed to be no sense in it, and he was pissed off. He says, quote, "I was 20 years old when my father was killed, and I had to grow up too quickly. When I went home for the funeral, I told my mother I would never come back to play baseball. She would always tell me that my father's dream was for me to be in the big leagues. Every time I reach a goal, I wish he could have seen it. Sometimes it looks like I'm angry on the mound, but that's the way I pitch best. I never want to lose that attitude when I pitch." And this made him a little bit bitter. That's a lot of people say he looks angry when he's pitching, but you can't take how people look pitching. First of all, a lot of guys, they might not have perfect vision. They might wear contacts or glasses. Yeah. So when they're looking at the mound, at the catcher like that, they don't want to wear. A lot of guys don't like to wear shit on the mound. Sure. Their contacts. Right. So a lot of times that mean look is they literally are looking.
They're just looking for the signal.
They can't see very well. Right. And a lot of times it's just the way they're looking. But it's like, they're trying to, steal themselves, but there could be nice guys. Yeah. You don't know.
Also, you kind of got to intimidate a batter.
That's the other thing.
That's the fucking strategy of the game.
Yeah. Back to fucking my friend Rod there. Yeah. He looked like the meanest son of a bitch in the world. Nicest guy going, but you had to look like he'd kill you. Otherwise, what's he going to do? Hey, man, how you did? Like, that's not going to fucking intimidate anybody.
Looked like he'd eat the beer can after he drank it.
Yes, that's what I mean. He looked like a fucking animal.
That's the point.
He looked like a deranged fucking Hell's Angel that they somehow gave a uniform to and said, "Go out there and scare the shit out of the other team." Yeah, put the beer can down. Yeah. Put it down before you go out there, man. You can't take it out there on the mound with you. That's what he looked like. Right. But in truth, nice guy who loved baseball. So fucking interesting. So October 28th, 1994, he gets some good news. Yeah. Anyway, a son is born. He has another son.
Oh, no.
Ugueth Jr.
No,
yep, he did
he really?
He absolutely fucking did it.
Number two?
Number two.
Number one owed
after
to
his
Pop.
father.
Yeah.
He named his
Number
dad.
two owed to fucking because I'm amazing.
Myself.
Yeah.
What? Because now I'm my own man. Ugueth Jr. So this is where it starts to go downhill.
I'm the man of the house now because Dad's dead.
We should always put grace right before he names the kid Junior, even if everything's going fine.
No matter what.
That's the beginning of the end. That's when we know you're fucking up right there.
You're on this show, so we know it's over.
We know something bad's going to happen. Right away, if you're an athlete and you see your name listed, you just look up crime and sports and then your name. Yeah. And if it comes up, it's not good.
No.
We'll tell you that right now.
We know what's going on with you.
There's like 3 episodes where we're like, kind of like that guy, and I wish it would work. Yeah, kind of ruined Mandy Malone, Ron LaFleur. Like we can count them on one hand out of 173 of guys.
From the Royals,
Willie Mays Aikens. Yeah, great, turned it around.
Right.
Like, guys like that.
We got 3 that we're rooting on.
3. I think there was 1 or 2 more, maybe.
Toe Nash would be nice if he got.
I would have liked to have seen, but that was bad. What happened to him? But 3 people were really like, you know what? So otherwise, it's bad. Yeah, and even those people, we made fun of them a ton before we declared their.
We ripped them hard.
Yeah. So
and deservedly so, and I'm sure they would agree.
Yeah, that's the thing. Anybody with any self-reflection says, like we've talked to Mandy Malone a lot. She's awesome. She's a great. She's a really cool
woman.
person.
Yeah.
She really is. She's fucking strong and gutsy, and she's a ballsy fucking woman. And
good
you don't want to fuck with her.
No,
no, she will take you down, take you to Congress, and then she'll kick you in the face and dick after that. She's a tough fucking she's done awesome.
It. She proves it.
She's strong and awesome, and we made plenty of fun of her, and she was like, you know what? Hey, just nailed it. I don't know what to say. Yeah, I'm trying to do better now. And we're like, you're an awesome person. I can give you more
details.
Yeah.
What do you want us to roast you harder? I think we did enough,
Mandy.
Yeah,
we're like, you're awesome.
Go kick ass.
Kick ass. So Oh man! So anyway, 1995, he starts out the year. He ends up going up to AAA to Ottawa here for the first month of the season, and then May 9th, 1995, he's called up to the major leagues.
Big leagues.
So. Dream come true.
This is it.
The Expos,
yeah.
Which is it's so weird how many people you hear about who either played for the Expos in their first game or played against the Expos in their first. I don't know what it is about the Expos.
It's just that's got to be why I see it.
They were just
am I a dumb savant that I just saw it? No, I didn't know.
So
half of that is
half of that's good. We don't know which half, and it might be 25% of half of one and half of the other. 25 and we don't know.
Yeah.
So versus Philly, this is the first
25. I did shit math there. Sorry,
it's 50-50. So I go back to my original statement. So he pitches 2 innings. Yeah. It's in relief. 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, no walks, 2 earned runs. So not bad. Doing this, he becomes the only player in the league to ever do something.
Really?
He's the only player in Major League history, over 100 plus years of history, to have the initials UU. UU or UUU, obviously.
I was going to guess that.
So he's the only player in Major League history.
Really?
UU or UUU. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Which someone might have UU, but no one's going to have UUU.
No.
Again, like he's going to hold that one for a while.
That's done for good.
Yeah. So he's brought up to the Expos, and let's find out who was on the Expos at this time, because you'd be very curious.
Marquise Grissom was there.
Well, we had Darren Fletcher catching, David Segui, Mike Lansing, the XA, remember him, Will Cordero, who got arrested, I believe. I don't want to say it in case it's not him, because it was a bad thing. Moises Alou, another guy.
Everybody knows him.
But I mean, you didn't have to be a great scout to find an Alou.
No.
It's like a 8th generation fucking player. Me, 19 of my uncles, my father, all my grandparents, my grandmother actually played in the majors. She cut her hair real short, and I don't know how she did it, but
nobody knew.
She hit 312 for 8 seasons with the Washington Senators. So I mean, it worked out just fine. Rondell White, remember Rondell White? Yeah, Rondell White. I loved Rondell White.
Did he play for the A's too?
Maybe he was one of those guys. No, Rondell was a stocky cat.
Really?
Pretty fast outfielder. Played for the Yankees.
Okay, I don't know.
Very dark. He's a black dude, excessively dark.
I mean, I could have guessed.
Well, I mean,
if
Rondell.
I was a horrible person.
Yeah, well, Rondell White doesn't sound like a blonde child.
Doesn't sound like a white guy.
Sounds like a black guy, pretty much. But
I would have guessed. I pictured a shortstop though.
No, he's a center fielder.
Okay.
He's a really good player. I liked Rondell White a lot. Okay. So Mark Gruzelanek on this team.
Okay. Yeah.
Roberto Kelly finishing out his career. Cliff Floyd came up and down that year. So we're talking a lot of future major. Pedro Martinez on this team. Again, Jeff Fassero, Gil Heredia, Kirk Reeder. There's a lot of major league. Everybody on here remains on our major league roster, and these are all kids mainly coming up. 95 Expos were 66 and 78. So not a great team.
Marquise Grissom wasn't there yet?
I think he might have been gone by now, actually.
Oh, really?
Grissom was gone. Him and Delino DeShields. Yeah, because they would have been free agents that had to go. They weren't getting paid.
Was it 90 or 92 the year he came up?
I want to say it was 90, those rookie
that
cards.
Might be,
90 and 91. DeShields 90, Grissom 91, or the other way around, maybe. Yeah, something like
Early
that.
90.
Early 90, yeah, some shit like that. So, the Expos, Felipe Alou's the manager here, by the way. So, like we say, you're not, you could just throw a rock out the window and hit a really good Alou. And he'll catch the rock first, actually. And he'll hit it 398 feet.
And Alou can throw a rock in their own fucking clubhouse and hit an Alou.
And hit another Alou, literally. Right there.
Unbelievable.
They played at Olympic Stadium, which was one of the weirdest stadiums in the world, if anybody remembers.
I remember the field. It was so ugly.
It was turf, and it had that plexiglass right behind so you just watch everybody sitting like field level right there through that plexiglass. It was a weird stadium.
But the field, that turf looked like that green carpet that you just laid outdoor.
That was that 80s, indoor, outdoor.
It was a shit field.
The outfield was in meters. The distances were in meters, and it was originally that stadium, if I'm not mistaken, was supposed to open. Like originally that was a retractable roof. Really? It was like one of the first retractable roof, and then after a while they were were just like, let's just keep it closed. We're not going to bother with that.
The field won't grow anyway.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be like that, and that's kind of like Toronto had there. But the attendance here starts to really plummet for the Expos, and that's why they end up closing up shop. Ugueth makes $109,000 this year.
Oh,
so I mean,
that's great.
It's for part of the year because he ended up going back down, and he wasn't exactly
for a guy from fucking Venezuela. That's amazing.
He only pitched 23 innings that year. He had a 6.17 ERA, went 2-2. They're just taking a look at him.
He earned a lot less than that.
Yeah, in 23 innings, that means he's still a rookie in 96, technically.
No kidding.
Yeah, if you don't play a certain amount or a certain amount of appearances, you're still a rookie. So 96 is technically his rookie year. This year, he does so well. He's named to Baseball Digest magazine's 1996 Rookie All-Star team. So good for him. Team goes 88-74, actually. Stepping up, but their attendance continues to plummet, unfortunately, here. Felipe Alou, the manager, again. This year, he has a 3.71 ERA, goes 10-5, 114 innings pitched. Again, he's a starter still here, not even a reliever yet, quite. So makes $112,000 this year. So they prorate it based on how much you were up in the bigs. So he must have been up $3,000 more or whatever it was than last year.
Prorated?
A couple of games more or some shit. 1997 for the Expos. This is when he starts to become a reliever and kind of cement who he is. Now, and this guy, if you don't remember, by the way, if you don't know him, he's a hard-throwing son of a bitch. He threw 98 miles an hour, blow you off your ass heat. When he came in the game, it was no joke. Like these guys you'd see guys stiffen up when he came in as a reliever. Because if you had a guy, if you had a starter who topped out at 91 and threw a lot of curveballs and shit like that and change ups, and then this guy comes in blowing you away, throwing fucking heat. I mean, it's daunting. And he had a nasty slider too. That would fuck you up. Yeah, he was fastball slider kind of guy, and power.
And that was so much fun to watch then, because I mean, he
was a great pitcher to watch.
Yeah, it's a dangerous pitcher to have coming in at the end of the game,
and he was really good.
And everybody's tired.
That's the thing. And they've just, you get used to the rhythm of other pitchers, and then you get a guy who comes in like that. It's like, whoa, holy shit. Like, that's always a thing, like Rivera as a reliever, he'd come in with that fucking cutter at 96 miles an hour. You're like, where the fuck did that come from?
And how the fuck am I supposed to hit that?
After 8 innings of other shit, that
was a strike?
That's coming at different angles. It's zipping off to the side. You're like, holy shit, hacking at it. This year, their attendance goes down again, by the way, the Expos. To now they're 13 of 14 in the National League.
Ouch.
Second to last in attendance. So not terrific, but he goes 5-8 with a 3.78 ERA. Not bad. 64 innings pitched, as he had a little more, a few more relief appearances instead. More 84 strikeouts, 29 walks. So that's a good sign. You see that. He's got basically 3 times the strikeouts as walks. That's a really good sign. 3-1 there. Makes $175,000 that year.
Right.
So now he's starting to feel a little better.
Hell yeah.
You can get yourself some new clothes.
Hell yeah.
Get yourself a new car, maybe. He's feeling good about himself.
The designer Pampers on little Ugueth?
Yeah, little Ugueth Jr. Oh, he's 4 now.
All right.
He better not be shitting himself still, or we got problems. Or that's going to be a whole other episode. So 1998 with the Expos. This year they really go in the tank. 65 and 97 they are this year, which is
that's painful.
Goddamn terrible. That is not good.
No.
Their attendance plummets below the 1 million mark. They have
for the season.
They have 81 home games.
Oh my god!
And less than 1 million people show up to those.
Less than 10,000 per game.
That is terrible. And that's This is the era where you could just hear individual people say shit in the stands. Literally, if you watch the game, you could just hear and be like, "Come on, Ugueth, what the fuck are you doing?" You just hear that shit, and you'd hear like people drop things. You'd hear hot dogs.
Unbelievable.
It was fucking weird. Really weird shit.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. This is when they didn't even have in Montreal or anywhere, they didn't have a TV broadcast. They didn't have a TV contract.
No.
The Expos weren't on TV.
That would be the worst TV broadcast ever anyway.
But I mean,
or the best.
Or maybe great. Yeah. Well, you can't get people to come to the game if they don't even see that it's happening. Right. Like if you have to see it on TV and go, "Ooh, the Expos look fun," and then they go to a game, but they weren't even on TV at all. And then they didn't have an English language radio deal either.
What?
The only broadcast they had was a French language radio. That was it.
Goddamn Canada.
The only way you would know the Expos existed is if you spoke French and listened to the fucking radio at night. Otherwise, you have no idea that they exist. So.
It is no wonder that they're gone now. It was run horribly.
Yeah, that's not great. Well, this is when they were going to go out of business, and I think this is when I believe might be right before the MLB took them over and started
that's what
running
happened,
them.
isn't it?
Yeah, they started. Yeah, they
that's
took
why
them
they went
over
to Washington D.C.
and then they put them. Yeah, they put them in D.C. This year, though, 1998, Ugueth. This is Ugueth's coming out party. Yeah. He really, really tears it up. He's 6-3, but that doesn't matter because he's a closer this year. What matters is the 1.30 ERA.
Oh,
that's nasty shit. Yeah, 69 innings pitched, 94 strikeouts, 33 walks. So he keeps that all going. But the real kind of huge deal here is 34 saves. Yeah. He had 27 in 97, but 34 makes him sixth in the NL in saves.
Wow.
In 98. Yeah,
he's the brokest save guy that high on the list.
First 53 saves was Trevor Hoffman, and then Rod Beck with 51 with the Cubs that year. Yeah, the Cubs went to the playoffs that year. It was a big deal. This year, Ugueth's an all-star.
Jesus.
An all-star. He's sixth in saves. And so, God damn it, not too shabby. Yeah. You know, this is really this is when you really, I remember as a baseball fan, you knew who he was at this point. Yeah. You'd hear his name, and he was one of the good new closers. $565,000 this year.
Now you're talking.
So that's something. I mean, in 98 too. I mean, that's some cash.
He's a homeowner.
Oh, he can do lots of shit with that. And at the end of the year, they say, you know what? You did so well. How about a 3-year, $6.4 million contract?
Now you're talking.
So holy balls.
Get your ass out in the suburbs.
Now that's some security. In baseball, it's guaranteed money.
Beautiful.
So he is going to make $6.4 million unless he, like lops his leg off in a motorcycle accident or something.
So good.
Unless he Kerry Von Erichs himself, he's gonna. That's a reference you'll understand later in a future show. Probably next wrestling episode.
Great.
If you don't already know it, if you're not a wrestling fan. So 3-year, $6.4 million contract for Mr. Urbina here. This is I'm excited for him at this point. He's got the 2 young kids. He's from Venezuela, and he's it's a shame his dad's not here to see it.
That's what I'm saying. All this sans father.
And he talks about a lot too. His dad was super, super supportive of the baseball and always would take him and would coach him, and he was very much a hands-on, but not in a forceful way. They didn't Marinovich him.
Right.
All Ugueth ever wanted to do was play baseball, and his father was just supportive and would help him everywhere he can.
Sounds a high fives.
Yeah, down there back then especially, it wasn't a thing like now. It's like where the kids are like, well, I don't feel like playing baseball. I want to try like this. I want to be that didn't exist.
No.
They saw baseball, and any skill of baseball that's how I can get from here to somewhere else, the better place.
Fuck else cares.
Yeah, to the better place.
Right.
And I can do that, or I can fucking work in a field. Those are my options. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as poor kids, that's what they think a lot.
Yeah.
It's like that or a field. Which one am I going to do?
You watch a game on TV and you see that there's a lot less sweating going on there.
Yeah, and
there's a lot more smiles in that bullpen than out in that field.
And there's guys like Ozzie Guillen who managed the White Sox forever, but he's a big player in the 90s too. In the 80s, he started in 83, 84. Ozzie Guillen, I think 84 was his rookie year. 85.
No,
I mean, as a kid, he would have been 10 years old and seeing Ozzie Guillen's from here. Look at him playing in the fucking majors. There's a ton of guys who are playing in the majors, and that's how those are the people who have money that you know about. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a new podcast here from the Parcast Network. And it's one of those things where you remember certain things. What's your daughter's birthday?
Oh, geez. September 9th?
There you go. You remember I'd ask you anniversaries, but I don't want to put you on the spot here.
What are those?
You remember the dates. Yeah. There's certain dates you remember. The Parcast Network, apparently, their important dates have to do with true crime history, and that's what this podcast is. Apparently, it's Today in True Crime. It's a daily podcast. Daily, that's pretty cool. So every day takes you back to the biggest events in true crime that happen every day in history. So that's awesome. You have June 12th comes up, which is my birthday. That's OJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have it. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be anniversaries. August 31st, 1888, Jack the Ripper commits his first murder. Things like that. October 3rd, 1995, OJ's acquitted. All this type of thing. So that's what it's all about. It's that sort of thing. This day, here's what happened, and we'll tell you all about it. So every day you're going to get another piece of true crime history because it never stops. True crime, it happens every day.
Yeah,
and they're going to tell you about it every day. New episodes each day, so you'll never run out of true crime content again, and you won't have to wait weeks for that sort of thing because it comes out every day. True crime never takes a day off, and now neither does Parcast. Follow Today in True Crime for free on Spotify and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
And now back to the show.
So 1999 for the Expos here. Again, another just abysmal season. The attendance goes down even more. Last year it was 914,000. This year their attendance is 773,000.
For the year.
For 81 games. 81 fucking games. So we could draw more than that. If we did shows, if we did
81 shows,
81 home shows, we could draw that. Just the people going, what's going on tonight? I don't know, wandering in by accident. Good Lord, run a fucking promotion. Then again, no one would know about the promotion unless they spoke French and listened to the radio. So never mind. Don't fucking run a promotion. Give up. Give up and go somewhere. God damn it. This is fucking pathetic. Jesus Christ. They keep Felipe Alou as manager because no one else wants to manage this shit.
Oh, God, that would be a horrible job.
How'd you like to come on? Oh, no, it's going down in flames. It's owned by the MLB. We're not signing any players, and we're going to move soon. And, oh, by the way, like 3,000 people a game show up, or fucking 7,000 people a game show up. So you want to be the manager of that? Sounds
Good
great.
Luck.
Sounds like a no-win situation to me, and somehow they keep him. So but again, this year Ugueth, not bad. He's 6-6, has a 3.69 ERA, so up from the 1.30. But the 1.30 is not really. That's not a sustainable number.
That's fucking impressive.
Unless you're Bob Gibson or something, that's ridiculous. But he does have 41 saves, which is tied for the National League lead in saves. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot of saves. That's elite level closer.
That's a lot of games.
Yeah, that's 41 saves, 75 innings. Yeah, the appearances here, that's 71 appearance. That's 71 games.
Jesus.
When you look at some of these relievers pitching in the 80s, that's too many fucking games.
Right.
If you pitch half the games, that's not. It's a weird kind of wear on your arm.
That's way more math than a guy pitching 30 games.
And there's,
you know what I mean? A starter. They pitch 30 and they're 5, 6, 7 innings at most.
Well, that's why you see these closers burn out. You don't see closers last more than 3-4 years now.
Right.
Guys up 3-4 years, and then he's a shitty middle reliever after that. He's blown out. You just don't see it. And there's like, I'm trying to think in the history of baseball, guys who have sustained a level of eliteness over Trevor Hoffman, Mariano Rivera, and even Hoffman the last 5 years of his career, he was throwing 86 miles an hour. Sure. He was shot. He just was really crafty, and he was their most popular player, so they weren't going to let him go. They wanted him
else, it's like 10, 12 years.
I mean, that's a miracle.
Unheard of, too.
It's unheard of.
And that's just with a lot of steroids.
As a closer, as a closer, unheard of. Like, they'll stick around the league, but as like Bruce Sutter was a closer for a long time. Lee Smith, but I mean, he wasn't a 130 Rivera Hoffman type of talent. I don't know, but it burns people out, is what I'm saying here. So he 71 games, but it's worth it. $2.2 million.
Now we're talking
this year. So good for him. He's got to be feeling nice about himself here. So nice that he and his brothers are at a dance club in Venezuela. And he is involved in a fight at a dance club and charged with assault.
Oh, he's charged.
Yeah, he's charged. Him and his brother weren't fighting each other; they were fighting other people.
Yeah.
And then,
but they started it.
We don't know.
If they're charged,
I think they were the ones winning. Probably is how this works. Whoever wins gets charged. I feel like is if you show up on a scene and you're a cop and there's two people laying down bloody and two people standing there with their fists clenched, you put the cuffs on those guys. That's it.
Let's stop them for a while.
Let's figure this out. We'll start with arresting those guys. They look like they're all right for a minute. They're not going anywhere. But you guys.
Yeah.
So he says that he wasn't involved in the fight in court. He testifies that it wasn't him. It was all his brother. Okay. So this is hilarious.
Yeah, because that guy can't afford to be sued.
And his brother's like, yep, it was all me.
Yeah.
Like they're just saying
it too.
It's better off.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably supporting his family. A lot of them, as we know, they have we'll find out later, he starts a big construction supply business down there, and then his family runs it. So, he's setting his family up to not, be in the same situation they were. That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
People here don't do that. They'll just like mortgage them a house, and then when they, get cut, then they don't have the money and everything gets foreclosed on. Down there, they're like, well, I'll start you a business and we'll do a whole thing, and it's a different thing.
Instead of having these people get to work on something, they get money laundered and sucked from.
Yeah, that's no
and
shit.
Everything goes away.
He does have he has elbow surgery this year, and to clean up some shit in his elbow here. He was charged with assault causing bodily harm, but nothing ever really. I think it all falls down on his brother basically. But it's in Venezuela, so it's really it's hard to find it's hard to find the updates on it. So 2000 season here, Montreal, still in Montreal. Good God, attendance terrible, last in the league again.
Yeah,
still Felipe Alou,
unbelievable,
67 and 95.
Oh God, he is the luckiest man on earth.
They win between 65 and 70 games every year, and he has a job every fucking year. Yeah, I mean, he has nothing to work with, too. No. This is when rosters were bare. Nothing was happening. He's working with all kids, basically. They're trading off anybody with any value.
That man hates baseball at this moment now.
Jesus Christ, he's got it just every day.
Fuck did I do this?
Not only that, but he's in Montreal, which is a fine city, but very fucking strange for a guy from Venezuela, or from, not Venezuela, I believe they're from the Dominican. Oh, God, I'm going to fuck that up.
Doesn't matter. It's a little culture shock.
Can't remember. It's different. Put it that way. It's one thing to go to the U.S., but now you're in fucking Montreal. What a weird place.
Fuck Moneyball. I want the movie of this.
Yeah, no shit.
This is so much better.
By the way, I would like to take a quick sidetrack. I would like to apologize, and I'll do this on Small Town Murder, too. I'd like to apologize to the people of Cleveland. We said after we were in Cleveland that it was, in fact, the worst city in America. We said, this place is fucking terrible, and there's a suicide bar in everyone's house.
Feel bad?
They can sling. Only this is the reason why. I do feel bad. I feel like I was premature saying all this, because then we went to Omaha, and let's just say Omaha makes Cleveland look like Paris. Let's just say that. So I'm sorry, Cleveland and Omaha. Fucking work on that shit. That is every Uber driver we had said they were doing it just to socialize, because that's how bored they are. Literally.
There's nothing to do here.
They didn't even say for extra money.
I took another job and talked to strangers.
Yeah, they're like, just to socialize, get out of the house. I'm like,
I force people to talk to me.
Yeah, it was the weirdest.
There's nowhere they can go. They're going to their destination. They've got at least 20 minutes to talk to me.
And then they're like, man, it's hot here in the summer, but it's cold in the winter. And I'm like, okay, so what? Why?
You could die in the summer from heat exhaustion, but in the winter,
you'll freeze to death. You look like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. Don't worry about it.
So much better.
Oh, it's great. And I said, we would say, like, no offense, but just out of curiosity, well, what makes you stay? And they go, it's cheap. It's cheap. If that's the answer, that's because no one else wants it.
Right.
That's why shit is cheap. No one else wants it. Run away. Run.
Love that cheap is the answer.
Every single individual we asked, and half the people we met there were corrections officers or former corrections officers, which means that there's a lot of prisons there, which is a weird thing also.
A lot of prisons, and there's more people than prison jobs apparently, because they are squeezed out.
They're all lady correction officers, and they're all cool too. The lady corrections, they're cool to talk to. I don't know how they are on the inside, but I mean, at our show, they're very nice. Very cool, and they know small town murderers too.
Dig that.
I know that guy. We're like, no shit. So 2000 though, Ugueth here, he goes 0-1 with a 4.05 ERA in only 13 games. This is where he blows his elbow out. In May, he has to have a surgery to kind of bring his shit together. I don't know. I think it was just a little messed up, and goes in and gets an MRI. 13.1 innings, so not much going on there. Yeah. But what he does do on April 4th, 2000, the very beginning of the year, it starts off promising. He strikes out 3 batters on 9 pitches, which is obviously ties a major league record, which is an unbreakable record. Yeah. But an immaculate inning, it's called. It's 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 outs, which is pretty fucking awesome to do. And even more, I would call this even more immaculate. $3.2 million. Wow. For our boy here. Oh. So that's some shit.
That's incredible.
That's a chunk of change. I
love that.
Man, that's
my number. I love that number.
That's a nice chunk of change, man. Jesus Christ. Well, that's according to that article, that's he makes the same as basically what Joe Rogan makes in a year for fucking podcasting. So,
that's where I gotta get.
Yeah, which is way more than us.
Not 1 year. Yeah. Fucking my lifetime.
No shit.
Stowed somewhere.
stowed somewhere. So Montreal this year, again, an abysmal disaster, obviously, as we know, every year. This is like toward the very end of their existence. I can't remember what year. I think it was maybe 2003 they were done, something like that. But he starts out in Montreal, goes 2-1 with a 4.24 ERA. But July 31st, on the day of the trade deadline, he is traded by the Expos to the Boston Red Sox for Tomo Oka and Rich Rundles. And
So they don't like him now?
Well, he's coming off an injury. I think they're kind of like, they're a little leery, and also this is the last year of his contract.
Oh, okay.
So if they have a guy who's going to want an extension of multi-million dollars, the Expos ain't giving him to him. So the Expos what they would do is whenever they had anybody whose contract was coming
give
up,
him a chance somewhere.
They'd trade him at the trade deadline and get a bunch of kids that don't get paid anything and won't need money for a long time.
And it's nice. They probably did it amicably with his agent because this gives him an opportunity.
He wants the fuck out of Montreal too. This is
wants an
depressing.
Opportunity to make money.
I want to play in front of more people than at a high school baseball game, please. There's more people at the Venezuelan games I played at when I was 14 than this. This
and
is
now he's going
pathetic.
to one of the biggest markets in the country for baseball. This is
2001 too. Boston. This was a very hotbed of the big rivalry with the Yankees was going. Boston was making the playoffs all the time, and Boston finished 82-79 that year, which is second in the AL East. There, they don't go to the playoffs though that year. I don't believe. So that was the year. Oh Christ! The Yankees played the A's. Yeah, they played the A's in the first round with Jeter with that hand flip thing, and then and then the Mariners in the second round who had set the World Series, who had set the record. No, that was the ALCS. Never mind. Whatever. So either way, Red Sox here, Jimmy Williams is their manager there. He comes in after, and Joe Kerrigan also, Kerrigan got fired that year. Rod was on this team, the 2001 Red Sox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was on,
so you knew him.
99, 2000, 2001, 2002 Red Sox. Okay. And Joe Kerrigan is the only person besides Oral Hershiser in baseball that Rod ever had a bad word to say about. Said that fat, useless fuck Joe Kerrigan ruined my fucking career.
Really?
He hates Joe Kerrigan.
Wow.
Hated his fucking guts because he said he said he just didn't think he would give him a chance to in a role that he wanted it and shit like that. So he said they just didn't get along. He was first he was a pitching coach, and then he was the manager there, and he just hated him and said he kind of ruined the second half of what he was trying to do and never gave him a chance and shit like that. And he didn't like him. Just wasn't a big fan of Joe Kerrigan. He loved everybody else. Loved Dusty Baker, even though he blew his fucking arm out. Didn't give a shit. He loved him to death. He just
seems like everybody loves Dusty Baker. Even the people that don't like him, they're like, at least he's charming.
He's like your dad. That's what he said. He said it's like, because Dusty, the way he said it before a game, he would say, "Can you go today? If I need you, are you there today?"
Yeah.
And he said, you can't say no to him. He's Dusty Baker. He's like your dad saying, if I need you he's like, you can't say no. So you say, yeah, even if you've pitched the last fucking 8 days, you go, sure, I got you.
I got too much to do. Can you mow the lawn for me? Sure, Dad.
It's just one of those things where he said as a player, you'd feel like a pussy saying, "Nah, man, I'm tired today." He goes, "If I need you, you're there for me." How do you say no to that? So it was one of those things, and it was almost attacking your pride.
That is a fascinating role to play as a major league general manager.
Yeah,
you've got to be able to you're actually playing chess and being able to talk to your chess pieces.
Absolutely,
that is amazing.
How do you feel about moving 2 spaces up and 1 over? How do you feel about that? Do you think you can muster it today?
You have a chat with my bishop.
You can only go diagonally. What are you doing? So yeah, that is a weird shit right there. The Red Sox, though, this was quite the core of the team here. They had what was it here? Carl Everett, Manny Ramirez, and all those guys. Jose Offerman, Dante Bichette, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Hideo Nomo, Tim Wakefield on that team. Rod, like I said, on that team. David Cohn was on that team also for a while. This was the team where who the hell was it? The little guy, the little pitcher.
I don't know.
God damn it, I can't remember who his fucking name was now. It's in another episode where Rod threw his bag off the fucking bus because he wouldn't get up for Dante Bichette.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He was a veteran.
Just threw his bag out the window?
This kid I can't remember, he was a pitcher. I'll know his name if I see him. No, fuck, I don't want to say the wrong person.
Yeah, don't do the wrong guy.
He was sitting somewhere, and Dante Bichette asked to sit down next to him where the kid had his bag, and he said, "No, I'm keeping my bag there." And Machette's a nice guy, and he didn't want to do anything. And Rod saw it and said, "The fuck out of here! That's a fucking veteran. He plays every day. You just got here, picked his fucking bag up, walked to the door of the bus, and fucking threw it as far as he could off the bus." Said that's all he said. Picked it up, walked, and went. And he said, "You heard, shit breaking and shit in there." And he's like, "Go get your fucking bag and stay off the bus," basically. And he rode with the press, the press and the coaches, basically. That was it. He wasn't allowed.
You go ride somewhere else.
So that's baseball fucking justice for you, which I think is a funny story from this era.
That's how life should be everywhere. Just respect people that have done what you're doing for much longer.
Yeah,
they're why you're here, you fuck.
Yeah, he didn't say you have to go sit on the floor.
No.
He said move your bag.
Right.
Can I sit where your bag is?
Well, now you have to sit somewhere else.
Now you don't even
now
get
you
to
can
be,
sit under the fucking shade tree.
Bus.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch our fucking diesel fumes fly out of this bus.
Go hang out with the traveling secretary on fucking bus 2. I'm sure it's just as nice.
Find the guy with a fucking notepad in his hat, you dick.
There you go.
Sit next to him.
Now, Ugueth this year makes $4.2 million fucking dollars.
Yes.
That is some cash money right there. Not too bad. And this is when the Red Sox really started just opening the payroll. They were trying to compete with the Yankees, and it was just a payroll opening for the whole 2000s for that 10-year period was just, and even kind of up until about 3 years ago, was just a who can spend more, because every free agent, the Yankees and Red Sox would both want them, and then if one wants them, then it would drive the price up for the other, because neither one wants that one to have them, and they'd go back and forth. I mean, before the Yankees got A-Rod in the trade, all the rumors were he was going to the Red Sox, and then out of nowhere, he was just a Yankee one day. It's fucking weird.
Pays off for the teams like that.
Yeah,
you got deep pockets, you can fucking win.
Well, yeah, look at how many World Series they won in a 15-year period between the two teams. So there you go.
It works.
Yeah, it does work. I mean,
you can buy talent. Weird, right?
It's strange, isn't it? Kind of like it always was in sports. The St. Louis Browns always sucked back in the day because they couldn't buy anybody. The Cardinals and Yankees and the Dodgers bought whoever they wanted.
Seemed to work out.
They're pretty fucking good. It's weird, right? Super strange. So
it's the same in every sport.
It really is.
I mean, the
money
fucking
talks.
Lakers figure it out. You know what I mean?
Well, but now it's a cap. They're all the same. But back in the day, they could spend the money. I mean, the Cowboys, that Cowboy dynasty in the early 90s, that ended at the salary cap beginning. That was the year it ended. Because before that, Jerry Jones was like, well, fuck, if I'm winning the Super Bowl, I'm selling more hats and shit than anyone else do. It's worth the money. But then the cap came, and now we all are on equal grounds, and I'm still checking my watch for a Cowboy Super Bowl. I can't find one. It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Been a minute. And
it's going to be more minutes.
It's,
a lot more minutes.
The last one was won by Troy Aikman. So let's just keep it at that. That tells you a lot right there. Yes, the guy in the booth who looks like he doesn't know he's in a booth. That guy was the last guy to win a Super Bowl, young people.
That amazing game did that to him.
Yeah, exactly. No shit. So 2002, Boston Red Sox, 93 and 69. So good team here. Grady Little was the manager of this team. I remember when they got him, kind of cooled the whole thing off. And Ugueth has a great year, 1-6, which doesn't really matter there. 3 ERA. He has 40 saves, which is fantastic. 60 innings pitched. He has a great year. This is good stuff. And he's an all-star again. So now he's a 2-time all-star, 98 and 2002. And he makes, drum roll for this shit, $6.7 million.
He's made so much money.
He's making fucking bank
He's
now.
made over $10 million.
And he's taking care of the family now. He's got, his mom has a nice house and the construction business. They have it's kind of like the construction business is over here and the house is like across the street from it. So he's got all
money should be making money at this point.
That's what I mean. It's beautiful. He's doing well. He's living the dream of everything. October 28th, 2002, he's granted free agency, but that's not a big deal. He probably wants to be a free agent coming off an all-star year, because that means people are going to bid for him.
Absolutely.
And December 23rd, 2002, he signs as a free agent with Texas, and no problem there. Obviously, so 2003 season, he starts the year with Texas. When you sign as a free agent, you expect to stay somewhere at least for the year.
For a while.
That means I wanted to come here and you wanted to have me. So much so that you sought me out. I flew down here and I signed some shit.
We both agreed on this with like a celebration.
Yeah, this was a big deal for us. You gave me a hat.
Right.
You gave me a hat.
You gave me a gift and a check.
We cheersed.
Right.
And everything was great. And now I don't know what's going on. But he starts out 0-4 with a 4.19 ERA. He's not exactly what Texas was looking for here.
Yeah.
26 saves, though. Okay. But still, he blew some saves, which is a problem. Yeah. The blown saves are as important an issue as the actual saves. That's a problem. So on July 11th, 2003, the Rangers trade him to the Florida Marlins.
Oh, boy.
For Will Smith. Yeah. He's, you know what? He's doing a Michael Jordan thing. He's I'm going to try it. He's like, I'm tired of the Men in Black and all that shit. And, I'm a little old for this, but I'm going to give it a look. A minor leaguer named Will Smith. Adrian Gonzalez, who's a fucking great player, obviously, a good hitter still, and Ryan Snare. So he goes there.
Okay.
He's traded to Florida. Now, for Florida, he goes 3-0, has a 1.41 ERA, 6 saves. He does more of a kind of a setup role here, but does fantastic for them. And Florida, as a matter of fact, this year, they go 91-71 and finish second in the NL East, but qualify for a wild card berth.
Yeah.
They beat the Giants in the divisional series here, 3-1. They have a 7-game series. I remember this. This was a heartbreaker for the fucking Cubs fans. 7-game series with the Cubs. This was the Bartman.
Yep.
This was the Steve Bartman, Moisés Salou. This was Gonzalez letting the double play ball go through his legs and the big rally, and then the Cubs basically were counting down our last 3 innings to go to the World Series, and then 2 days later they were fucking done and not going to the World Series.
And ready to drown a poor man who, for all intents and purposes, had nothing to do with their luck.
Not really. No, it really wasn't him. Other people were bumping him.
Yeah.
He was just the guy who had like a silhouette.
Right.
Everybody else, no one else had headphones and a hat and a thing. If anyone else had
he had so many accessories that made him stand out.
He was just noticing. He looked like Brett Michaels standing there. Like he might as well have had like fucking jewelry hanging off him and a headband, and like he was ridiculous. He was like Johnny Depp. Just accoutrement, rings coming off him.
But even still, after that play, there was still many more opportunities for the Cubs to win that game.
Well, all you had to do was catch a ground ball and get an easy double play. That inning's over. You win. You're in the World Series. Instead, a shortstop who gets paid money. By the way, Bartman,
no money.
He wasn't cutting a paycheck. No. Your ticket dollars did not pay for anything he did. But the asshole who missed the ground ball, Gonzalez, he was getting paid to do that.
Yeah.
No one said shit. If that never happened, he's the
Bartman.
He's Leon Durham, who was the guy in '84 who let the ball go through his legs. He Bucknered before Buckner and the Cubs didn't go to the World Series, and the Padres went in '84. That's what he would have been, that guy, but instead relief. So not bad. So they win 4-3 over, and they go to the World Series. The Marlins in the World Series versus the Yankees. Yeah. I don't know if you remember this World Series. Fucking horrible. This was not a great Yankee team. First of all, and I was always the whole year I'm like, they're going to the World Series.
The Marlins shouldn't be too proud of that one.
Nah, it was a weird World Series that year.
It was a weird whole season. The whole playoffs was weird.
Yeah.
And starting with the Cubs thing.
Yeah, well, the Marlins were comebacks all year. They started out the year with Torborg as manager, Jeff Torborg, and then they fired him and hired Jack McKeon, who's an old pro, the Reds and everybody. He's an old manager here. And they ended up making a bunch of trades, getting Urbina, getting some other people.
Craig Counsell.
Got a bunch of other people here and ended up making a run and going to the goddamn World Series, which was nuts.
Weird.
And they end up, and Ugueth, he pitched in 3 games and didn't give up any, had a 3 ERA in the NLDS, and then against the Cubs, he actually got a win. He was 1-0. He pitched in 4 of the games, which is crazy. 2.57 ERA, 7 innings pitched and a save. So very good. And then in the World Series, he has 2 saves in the World Series.
No kidding.
Saves 2 games. Has a 6 ERA. The Yankees hit him a little bit, but he saved the game, so who gives a shit? He pitched 3 innings in 3 games, not too shabby, and the goddamn Marlins beat the Yankees 4-2 in the World Series. So now we're talking about he is not only getting paid,
he's a champion.
He's a goddamn World Series. This is top of the mountain.
Yeah.
He made $4.5 million this year.
Jesus Christ. The man has made almost $20 million.
To be a fucking champion.
Yeah.
Big fat paycheck, big fat ring.
Yeah.
beat the Yankees in the World
smile.
Series. Yeah, he went to Yankee Stadium in the World Series, and that's the dream, and you and won, and beat them and became the champion. That's insane. So I'm going to say Grace. Yeah, this is. Let's go ahead and call it what it is.
George Steinbrenner knows your name and is mad at you for beating him.
And is going to try to buy you next time you're...
And next time you're available?
Oh, Steinbrenner's big on that. If you beat him, he's like, I will fucking buy him when he's available. I will not. Fuck that. He's good.
For this.
That must mean he beat me. That must mean he's the greatest player ever. He's overpaid so much for people because they were good against the Yankees.
Ego.
They were Yankee killers. Some guys play well against the Yankees. Just a weird thing. I don't know what it is. Some guys do, and he would see that and go, that must mean he's the greatest player ever. Right. And then they're terrible. They're only good in that situation.
Did Johnny Damon go from Boston to New York?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He did that to him too.
Yeah.
Because he took him.
That's the thing. He was a pain in the ass, Johnny Damon. He's like, I'm going to fucking get him. No.
And then he made him cut his hair.
Yeah. Well, Damon, before that, too, with the Royals, he was a pain in the ass. And then the A's, he's a pain in the ass, Johnny Damon.
He's a good player.
He's a good player. He's one of those just
you want him on your fucking team.
Yeah. He's a good hitter. He's just a solid hitter.
He'll find that ball.
Terrible center fielder, buddy. Good hitter. He could get to shit. Just that was where it ended. So $4.5 million. Grace, October 26, 2003. He's granted free agency again, which is good because Florida. This is when they have a fire sale.
Yeah, it's crumbling now.
Well, this is before they had 97. They won the World Series and then completely sold everybody, stripped the team bare. 2003, they won the World Series and then everybody left. Yeah. Josh Beckett, all those guys fucking gone.
And then it's starting up again now.
Anyone who wanted
10 years.
Anyone who wanted $1 was gone at the end, and he was in that purge here. So January of 2004, he's arrested in Caracas. It's in a very upscale neighborhood in Caracas where he's hangs out and lives and shit, and goes down to spend time. And he's arrested for firing gunshots out of the window of an SUV.
Why would he do that?
Of the passenger side of an SUV in the morning, by the way.
Why?
It was him and a friend, Cesar Diaz, were intoxicated when they were detained, but this was after the incident, so we don't know if they were intoxicated in the car or not. They seized a 9mm revolver from the pair, which sounds old school. Yeah. They were charged with possession of...
I don't even think I've ever seen
a 9mm revolver.
That's bizarre.
It's probably like some homemade weird Venezuelan gun that I make from many parts and I put together for you. And like, what? Where'd you get this? What is this? I fixed a 22. I bore it out a little more.
I bored out a 22 to fit them.
And then I get the different barrel. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? How'd you do this shit? That's some ingenuity, dude.
Do not look down sights when fire. Hold away from body.
Oh, hold way away. Bullet just...
Sometime come apart.
Oh, make your eyes not there anymore. Best way to put it is bad. So, so they're charged with possession of a weapon without a license and misuse of a firearm. Here, they are arrested and they try to get comment, and residents called the police to complain about the gunshots. Yeah. And the police chief said Urbina could not explain why he allegedly fired his gun. They got him in there like, why'd you fire his gun? He's like, I don't know. No idea.
Told me it would work. I didn't believe him.
Look at this thing. You think this would work?
It looks fucking crazy.
Here, I'll put it in my mouth. I've fired it 3 times. I still don't think it'll work again. That's what I mean. Let me put it in my mouth, Chief. Come on. So, So this is fucking funny. Later that month, though, he's all of a sudden, now he knows. Yeah. Now he knows what happened. Really? Later in the month when he's in court, he says that he fired his gun in self-defense because men on motorcycles were trying to rob him. I think he would have remembered that the first time.
You think?
I'm pretty sure that when the cops initially got to him, he would have been like, these fucking dudes on motorcycles came up. They were trying to rob me. I make a lot of money. I said, fuck that. I have this homemade gun that I'm going to shoot you with. No way. And then we thwarted the whole robbery. I got their plate numbers if you'd like them, officer. Instead, he's like, I don't know why I did it. And then in court, he's like, they tried to rob me. It was terrible. And the judge says, okay, good enough. Threw the charges out.
Get out.
That's right. Plausible enough.
I guess.
It's Venezuela.
The man's got $20 million. They probably did.
If there's so many robberies and everything, they're like, that sounds plausible. They didn't bring up, well, he didn't say that when we arrested him. Yeah. He could have fucking said that.
Nobody said that,
Nobody said that, which would have been self-defense and probably advantageous for him to say at any point in this. That's not like a incriminating statement that he didn't want to make. That's the statement that frees you.
Doesn't seem like trial day information.
No, that's exculpatory.
That's what are you doing information. information.
Yeah, dude tried to rob me.
Yeah.
Shot at him.
Got to run.
And if they still arrested him and went to court, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And the judge said, I rule that that's okay to do if someone's trying to rob you. That's not what happened. That's weird. So 2004, March 29th, 2004, with those charges thrown out, Ugueth is signed as a free agent with the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
So going to Detroit. Yeah, these relievers bounce around.
5 teams already.
Yeah, relievers bounce around. Once they're done from their first team, they really start to bounce around. Back then, the relief pitchers, the salaries really swelled.
Yeah.
So they would just go from team to team. And a team that thinks they were going to make a run that year would say, we need another bullpen arm. Everybody thinks they're a bullpen arm away from the World Series. So if we can get a guy in here throwing 95 out of the pen, that's the answer. And so that's kind of what they did. Tigers were way more than a player away as they went 72-90 that year under manager Alan Trammell, the old shortstop / third baseman. Yeah. Here, they have almost 2 million people at Comerica Park here, which was their new park, which is still there now. But that was after they tore down Tiger Stadium, which I heard was the shittiest, actually facilities there was. Rod said there was rats that were fucking. God. It's scary.
It's
down
Detroit.
There. Yeah, it was an old, 100-year-old park.
Detroit.
It was not good.
That's not positive.
Not good shit here. But they go 72-90. Ugueth ends up being 4-6 for them. Not too bad. 4.50 ERA, 21 saves. So he's okay for them. Not too bad. But he makes $4 million.
Wow.
$4 million. Problem is, he didn't have the chance to finish the season, though.
Because?
The last month of the season, he was not around because on September 1st, 2004, his mother is kidnapped.
Oh, no.
Yes. This is fucked up. Yeah, this is bad. So now his father's been murdered in a robbery attempt.
Yeah.
And his mother has now been kidnapped.
Oh, my God.
This is bad shit.
And they're holding her for ransom because Uday, Ugaya.
Yeah, Uday and Hussein and fucking all of the Hussein boys are all here. Yes, his mother here is taken. She's kidnapped from the town of Ucamare del Tue.
Does that start with a U?
Ocamare. And that's when they've moved there now. It's a nicer place, allegedly, or supposed to be, than where they're from here. It's on the southeastern outskirts of Caracas. They moved to the burbs, basically. Yeah. They live in the burbs. Her home, they say in this article, is it's the most expensive on the block. It sticks out like a fucking sore thumb. It's,
big and pink.
It's
on the top of a hill.
It's a big giant house that a guy with a major league United States salary can afford to build his mother. Who
lives there? Somebody important. Let's kidnap
None
him.
of us, I bet. Yeah. Somebody must. Who should we kidnap? I don't know. Let's start with that house and move down the line. What do you say? It's a nice place actually too. It's actually it's not a shitty. It's not in the middle of the ghetto. They built a big house. It's a nice neighborhood. Yeah. Nice neighborhood with this suburban place and then this big fucking giant house sitting in the middle of it, which is weird. I guess it's it's right next to the family's construction supply business. Like we said, it's across the street here. Apparently, gunmen came dressed as police officers. Yeah. 4 gunmen came and to the door and forced their way into the home here, and they ended up stealing $520 and abducted his mother, Maura.
Yeah, she's the expensive piece.
She's the expensive one here, and also a mechanic who was working at the home who just showed up to fix something.
Dumb luck.
And 2 minutes later, these guys showed up.
No.
This poor bastard.
Fuck.
If he would have just smoked an extra cigarette at the last job, he would have fucking missed he would have showed up, knocked, nobody answered. I don't know. He would have went somewhere else.
Why's the door kicked in?
That's instead he's kidnapped by by Venezuelan gunmen. And we'll find out this shit goes deep.
I'm sure. And that's fucked up too, because he already knows that if they have to prove a point that they're business and serious about this, he's the one that's going away.
Well, they need, that's the thing.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
If they need to send an ear or a hand or some shit to make a point, it's going to be his. Because he'll be worth the same amount, nothing, or get either fucking way. Whereas the mom, you got to keep her intact if you want to make a shitload of money.
All pieces on her, but fuck this guy.
Yeah.
We can send his dick.
Yeah, her they probably kept nice, but him, they just throw him in a closet somewhere.
God,
we don't care about him.
He's got to be sweating.
I don't know anything. I don't even live here. My place is a shithole. My apartment's worse than yours. I guarantee it. Let me go, please.
I'm a mechanic.
Yeah.
You guys are underworld figures. You have more money than me.
Jesus. Joel Rengifo is the chief of the National Investigative Police Anti-Kidnapping Unit here in the area. Joel, I'm sure, but it's spelled Joel. Joel Rengifo here. He says about this, quote, there could have been some previous surveillance of the pitcher's mother, and that is why they may have taken this person. Well, no shit. She's taken, and right away there's no contact, there's no ransom demand right away, so they're like, what do you want? What's going on here? We know that you want ransom, obviously. You didn't
we're just trying to figure out how much she's worth to him.
That's the thing here. The Tigers released a statement saying that Ugueth had left the club. He goes right back to Venezuela to attend to the situation. The team said they released an official statement, quote, the Detroit Tigers organization is working with Major League Baseball and its contacts in Venezuela to assist Ugueth. So they're all trying to do it. Eventually, Rengifo says the kidnappers demanded $6 million in ransom. And the problem is they don't want them to pay. The police don't want them to pay. No. That's the thing. They want it to be they want to
resolve it by arresting them.
Yeah, they don't want to
stopping this whole thing.
They don't want to set an example of you should kidnap rich people's moms,
especially baseball players when we've got a bunch of them.
Oh, and it keeps going on too. Carlos Zambrano's mother got kidnapped in 2009. So it keeps going.
Of course,
these players are scared shitless to have their families at home because they're not safe. It's crazy. That's ridiculous. 3/4 of the world's kidnappings at this point in time occur in Latin America.
Really,
3/4 of them occur, and they're all ransom shit.
Yeah,
it's if you watch Narcos, it's all kidnapping for ransom. It's a huge thing down there. That's how people make money. That's a profession down there. Kidnapper, just to get ransom money.
It's like Somali pirate.
Absolutely,
it's a fucking profession.
Yeah, and like with drug dealers and shit, it works because they don't call the cops.
Right.
You
don't want them involved.
Yeah, the bulk of them are in Colombia, Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil. They say the insurance industry estimates that there's more than 7,500 kidnappings a year in Latin America, but a lot of people think that there's actually more than that because so little are actually reported. Sure. Most of the time, it's just paid the ransom, you get them back, and they keep it all underground. Wow. Especially if everybody's in shady dealings. If who gets above board?
Right.
He's a ball player. Right. He doesn't have to fucking hide anything. Right. He goes to the cops.
And that number probably is way up too, because if I kidnap you and your family pays it, now you're pissed and you're going to kidnap something.
That's the other thing.
And now that number's now doubled.
That is how it goes here. Venezuelan police say that the number of kidnappings rose in 7 years from 51 to 201. Wow. In the 95 to 2002 time. And they say many people just pay off the kidnappers. Ugueth even says, quote, you don't irritate these people, you just try to stay calm. So because they're saying they're trying to get quotes out of him, and he's not He doesn't want to say, I want to rip their fucking lungs out and stomp on them, because he doesn't want to piss these people off because they have his mom.
Right.
So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The kidnappers end up calling 6 different times. Ugueth is never allowed to talk to his mother over this period, but he is allowed to ask a question that only she would know the answer to. And then the right answer lets him know that she's still alive. Yeah. So that's, at least there's that. Ask her this. And then, so that's something. At least he knows his mom's alive.
Right.
She was being held, apparently, in an abandoned campground in the southern mountains. Oh. We're talking way out. She's being held in one of these. It's out in the middle of the jungle. Yeah. It's not like in a city somewhere. It's not like when DeSouza was holding that. It's not like that in the middle of the neighborhood. It's
not a condo that's lavish and lovely.
It's not a summer home that he decided. This is in the middle, some drug compound in the middle of the mountains here. A Venezuelan group, they figure out originally kidnapped her. That was the four gunman team that dressed as police officers. Then she was sold to Colombian drug dealers.
Oh no!
As like a debt payment. They think it was a debt payment for they owed a debt of probably $2 million, and they say, well, here, take this lady. She's worth $6 million.
Oh my god!
And the Colombians think they can get the money, and so they take her. So now this guy's mother's being sold by gunmen to other gunmen, which is absolutely
to way worse.
Yeah. Well, who knows? But
probably if they are
a more organized group of people.
If they're in debt to them and owe them something, they're probably a more organized, scary organization.
We'll talk about who they are. They are a very scary organization here. The nearest village to where they believe she's being held is an 8-hour drive. Oh, boy. An 8-hour drive. Think about that. Here to L.A. is less than 6 hours. Right. And that's far, and it's through the fucking desert. Yeah. Another 2 hours, that's the closest village. Not like... imagine there's nothing between here and, like Albuquerque and L.A., and that's the closest thing to... That's crazy time. Crazy. I mean, 8-hour drive, I'm sure it's not going 75 miles an hour through the desert.
It's 35 through some bumps and turns.
If that, through the jungle in a lot of these places. The last time goes by, and 6 phone calls come in, and at one point there's 2 months that go by now between the last phone call.
That he hasn't seen his mother?
He hasn't heard from, they haven't demanded ransom. He doesn't know if they just killed her and threw her in a fucking ravine somewhere and said forget the whole thing or what it was. But yeah, they just said they wanted $6 million, and that's that. Now, Urbina says, quote, for your mother, you'd do anything, you'd give your life, but even other Venezuelan people have helped to, like other players have said they would chip in on the ransom for him because this is, this could happen to my mother, and then I'd hope people would chip in for me. Right. So literally all the Venezuelan players started a fund to pay off this ransom. Right. Like, we'll fucking help you, because $6 million in a lump sum of cash, if he makes $6 million in a year,
he did it all there.
Fucking what is it? The 600,000's going to his fucking representation. Then he's got lawyers, and then he's going to pay 40 taxes. He's not making $6 million. And then if he buys shit and buys a house, starts a business, it's pretty crazy though. The kidnappers would tell the mother that her son didn't love her, otherwise he'd pay the ransom. So obviously he doesn't love her. And Urbina said everybody told him, we're praying for you and shit like that, but he's like, that doesn't really help.
Those didn't seem to come through.
So the authorities down there in Venezuela, the anti-kidnapping unit, they're urging Urbina to refuse to pay any ransom. Mm-hmm. They're saying, do not pay any ransom. They think that obviously this will set a precedent, and this will be happening every day.
Oh, and the stakes just go higher. You get more and more valuable people.
All it would be every Venezuelan baseball player's family would be staked out 24/7, and if they left their house, they'd all be kidnapped. Right. That's all it would be. The Rengifo guy says, quote, if he pays, that means he doesn't trust us, which is a really weird way to put it.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
If he pays, that means he doesn't trust that it's a lot of trust to put in people that they'll get your mother back alive.
Sir, 2 months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
My trust wears thin.
6 months go by.
No.
6 months go by. There's 6 phone calls in the first 4 months, and then there's 2 months go by with no phone calls. So this is
6 months.
This is getting crazy.
Fuck no, we don't trust you.
No, he says, Rengifo says, and that will affect. Don't be so hard on Rengifo. Wait till you hear what he does. This guy's like fucking. This guy's like a Schwarzenegger movie.
Really?
Basically, yeah. He does like some Predator shit. Basically,
I can't wait to find out.
It's crazy. He says, and that will affect other ball players because kidnappers will see how easy it is to get money. They'll think if a ball player paid, the next one will do the same. Which, the division of this unit has 80 officers. He assigned 15 of these 80 officers to this case. That's a huge chunk of his resources here.
Sixth?
He says the situation was even being monitored by President Hugo Chavez at the time. Yeah, even he was concerned because it's a huge. Yeah.
That's national.
It looks bad for them that they can't. If
your tourism dollars down.
Well, nobody was going to Venezuela in the fucking 2000s, but still, like one of those things where if he can't say, he's out there saying this is the way you run a country, you'd be a fucking dictator, and if he can't even keep rich people's mothers safe, how's he going to say that? Like, your country obviously isn't doing very well if my mom can't go outside without being kidnapped by Colombian drug dealers. This is fucking crazy. Or
they're debtors.
Yeah. Rengifo said that Urbina has agreed with the police not to pay the ransom. That's how this is going on. He says, quote, I don't think Urbina will pay money to them behind our backs. So they trust Ugueth here. He didn't speak to the media at all here, but his brother said that there has been no negotiations except for the last phone call, and that's been that. They do release sketches of 4 men who they say they've identified as the kidnappers. So they have sketches, but they don't know their real names or who they are or anything like that. They were dressed as policemen, and they opened a big gate to get into the compound. They showed a fake search warrant. And they left with his mother. They left in a green Ford Fiesta, which 4 dudes and the mother. That's going to be the most harrowing part of her journey.
That is a fucking cram-packed car.
Yeah, never mind being held in a compound in the mountains. Being taken in that. Oh, I'm sorry. 4 guys, the mechanic and her.
Oh, God, Jesus.
They put the mechanic in the trunk.
Of course.
In the fucking hatchback.
They fucking tied him to the roof.
It just, like a deer.
Yeah.
Like they tied him over the hood. Like
just be happy we're not dragging you, fucker.
Yeah, exactly. Be happy we tied you to the hood.
Right.
Be happy we didn't just say, hold on, asshole, as we drive fast. What
a shit car. My Emily had one of those, and she just got rid of it.
Piece of
Christ.
shit.
What a train wreck of a vehicle.
Yeah, those are bad stuff here. My friend, when we were 13, my friend's mother had a Ford Fiesta, and a bunch of us picked it up and moved it. We picked it up and put it in the street. Why would we play pranks on his mom, I don't know, but we picked it up and put it in the street from its parking space.
Did you say this one was a lime green one?
Lime green, green, not lime, but green.
It's probably the lime green one, but that's the one that my Emily had. Same goddamn car.
What is her name exactly?
Emily?
Oh, okay. I thought it was my Emily. I thought, make her sound like a doll. Like an 80s doll commercial.
It's my Emily.
It's so weird. It's creepy. It creeps me out every time you say it. It's so strange. I picture like a small doll that's too big. Yeah. One of those dolls that's like half the size of a child, though, and it's freaky looking.
That's what she is.
And it's like it walks on its own. And you're like, make it stop. And its eyes are dead and shit. And you're like, make it stop. And it's got a creepy theme song. My Emily walks down the street. My Emily has little feet. That's what it seems like to me. Like fucking,
She is dinky.
It's fucking funny, man. I don't know. It just freaks me out. So anyway,
she would love that doll.
Yeah,
she loves creepy, weird shit.
Oh, cool. Get her a doll that looks like her and call it my Emily. You really should.
I'm gonna do it.
It's like My Buddy. Remember My Buddy and Me? That's what it's like. The girl version.
I'm gonna get her.
It's the dollar store version of Skipper.
I'll bet it fucking exists.
It probably does. They have dolls that you make that look like your kids. I've seen it's creepy as fuck. It's so weird, dude.
Unbelievable.
They had ones where they would dress the doll in a way, and then they would send your kid the same outfit too. So they'd send you a doll, with an outfit, and then a kid outfit so your kids could be identical. That's the creepiest shit I've ever heard in my life. That's not cool.
My daughter doesn't. So the American Girl doll.
The American Girl dolls. Okay,
they sell the goddamn all the clothes that you can buy for the doll. You can buy for the kid too.
That's so
and my
weird.
Daughter liked it for a little bit, and then she was like, I don't want that anymore. That's weird.
Creepy. And you're like, thank God.
I want that shit
high five.
Yeah, I want
Good job,
just sitting on the couch while you wander into the room. This is weird.
My daughter used to have these 4-foot tall dolls. They were the fucking freakiest looking things in the world.
The Barbie that's my size or whatever.
Yeah, it was so fucking weird. If you just walked into a room, you're like, it would be dead-eyed fucking thing staring at you. It's fucking weird, like a child corpse standing in a room. Like, what did you do?
Unbelievable.
Which one of your friends is this? So yeah, they said negotiations are not ongoing, but they're trying to figure it out. A later on report said that the ransom had been up to $15 million.
What?
But the police disputed this account, so we're not sure exactly if that's true or not. Here,
somebody in the background of a phone call. Tell him 15.
He said 15. Hey, Johnny said 15. Not a dime under 15. I'm gonna kill that bitch. Fuck them. So, this is how this is all going on. Jesus Christ here. His friend here, who's a player down there, said, quote, I think he wants to bring his mother back alive. I don't care how much money he has to pay. More important is him having his mother. Ozzie Guillen, who was the White Sox manager at the time, who I think they won the World Series that year in 2005, if I'm not mistaken,
Maybe.
or 6.
I don't know.
Red Sox 104. I want to say they beat the Rockies in 05 or 06.
That's possible.
One of those. Not the Rockies, maybe somebody else. Oh, Astros. Yes. White Sox Astros. maybe.
Oh, that was when. Was that when Barack Obama pitched?
No, he wasn't. Oh, he wasn't even. He was a senator then.
Yeah, 2008. They don't give a fuck about senators.
No, 2005. They're like, fuck him.
Took a little while for them to get up there.
An Illinois senator. We don't care about it. Well, the White Sox maybe it could have worked, but
that's what he threw out a ball game
later.
For them later. After after he mattered.
Now, Guillen was a coach on the Marlins team that Urbina was on, so he knows him very well. He says about Urbina, quote, he's really crushed. He was really scared and felt bad because he wanted to quit baseball last year. Now this has happened to his mom. He feels guilty, like, wow, if I wasn't playing anymore, I would have been there. So apparently he thought about retiring before this happened, and he feels like if he would have retired, then he would have been home.
Shit, the guilt.
They wouldn't. Yeah, he could have protected his mom. He also says, "quote This is Edgardo Alfonso, who used to play. He's known since he was a kid. Remember, Edgardo Alfonso played for the Giants and Mets for 15 years, third baseman in the 90s and 2000s. He says that they've already lost the father, so God forbid something happens to his mother. We're just desperate about getting his mother back right now.
I'm sure.
So February 18th, 2005, the anti-kidnapping unit mounts an offensive.
They know where she's at.
We'll find out how that ended up happening.
Okay.
But they put together a strike force.
Yeah, they got SEAL Team 6.
This is some serious, this is like a fucked up 80s action movie where they're going into the jungle with machine guns to fight some paramilitary group who's at a compound.
Really?
This is shit you see and you're like, well, this is silly in an action movie, and it's actually happening. So it's insane. I guess the whole mission lasts 8 hours here. It's 340 miles southwest of Caracas. So out there, they had held her for 5 months and 18 days so far.
God damn it.
In captivity, which is crazy. She's been what they call the deep Venezuelan jungle here. The kidnappers too. This is like a drug gang or cartel, basically their own little cartel, a drug cartel's jungle compound,
like their hideout.
So they all have like machine guns and grenades and like explosives, and there's like literally bricks of cocaine everywhere.
Rambo shit.
This is some crazy 80s Schwarzenegger Rambo shit going on right here. It's fucking nuts here. They sent 30 officers to try to do this raid. So this is like a whole commando unit here. They said, quote, we had to take a boat to arrive on the river by surprise. So this is crazy here. I guess it was an abandoned tourist camp that they turned into a compound. Called Las Nieves, or I guess that means the snows. I'm not sure about shit. But yeah, it's... the Daily News here had a really good article where they did some investigative shit here, talking about this particular. They got a lot of good details that nobody else had about the raid here. This is Rengifo says the unit went to a campsite. There was 24 people there, including the group's leader. That's where they were It was like the central ops of their massive drug ring, is what they did. They had that there. That's not where they held her. They had another compound here.
Jesus.
At this compound, they ended up finding the leader of this group, Alvis Patico. Alvis, who his nickname is El Chiguero. El Chiguero. This guy's the leader, and he's interrogated by the police officers, and he's later arrested as the unit seizes 654 kilos of cocaine here, which is over 1,000 pounds of coke.
That is a lot.
That's like 1,400 pounds of coke. That's a shitload of coke. Yeah, lots and lots. You couldn't carry that.
No.
If you put that in your fucking car, it would drag on the ground if you put it in your trunk. That's how much coke that is.
Wouldn't fit in a Ford Fiesta.
No, it would be it's heavier than the Ford Fiesta. The same weight.
Same mass, can't take up the same space.
No fucking way. No, the tires would scrape the wheel wells. That's how much coke. You think of coke, you don't think of it in enough weight that it holds a car down. But that's literally how much weight. It would be noticeable, like all the drug dealers in the 80s that would do all these drug transporting, they would have their cars be specially equipped with shocks that could hold thousands of pounds in the trunk that wouldn't drop the trunk to the ass to the ground, because then it looks like you either have
modify the vehicle,
dead people, or a bunch of coke in your trunk.
Which do you have, sir?
Yeah. Which is it? They extradite him to Colombia. They incarcerate him in Bogota maximum security prison of this whole deal. He wouldn't crack on the whereabouts of Urbina's mom. He would not fucking do it. And they fucking tortured him.
Oh, yeah.
They tortured him.
Oh, yeah.
They found him in a jungle. Yeah. Do you think that was
Did you say Angola?
Yeah. No, not Angola. In Colombia.
Well, right. Bogota. That's what I meant.
Bogota maximum security prison.
I don't want to even be in Bogota, let alone the fucking prison.
Think about when they captured him, though, in a compound in the fucking jungle.
He got the shit kicked out of him.
You think they held his head nicely when they put him in the back of the car? Or do you think they said, we could kill you and disembowel you in these fucking jungle and no one would never know the difference?
The only people that would know would be your friends.
That's it. But what they did get there, a young boy amongst this group that they had doing, shit work and a little intern, I guess you could call him. He was at this campsite. He pointed out to the police another person in the group who was a part of the kidnapping and knew more information.
All right.
So they had a little guy in the group. Never have a teenager in your hit squad. Remember that?
Little hero.
Yeah, that's what happens. Never have a teenager in a hit squad. They'll always fucking tell on
They're
you.
Unreliable.
They ended up pointing this guy out. This guy was a little easier to crack than the other one. The leader of the group was a little hardcore, and he wasn't cracking. But this guy, they find an underling, and he's more willing to tell the tale. Somehow, I wonder how that happened. He was so willing that he ended up being the guide for a 4-member unit for their journey of to get to the rescue.
Tour.
Yeah, he knew how to navigate through this shit here. They called it a harrowing boat trip in this article. Listen to this. This is right from this Daily News article. Quote, after a harrowing boat trip through piranha and anaconda-infested waters and a 5-hour trek by foot to reach the campsite.
Wow.
That's directly quoted from the art. That's fucking crazy. I mean, obviously there's some harrowing, but I mean, it's piranha and anaconda in the water. That's enough. That's enough there.
That warrants the word harrowing, whatever it is.
Both.
You need Dwayne Johnson to get you there.
Yeah, you need, no shit. You need all that cocaine you seized at the last place. He said, Rengifo said, we were working on pure adrenaline, and they ended up having a 4 unit team here, our 4-member team, ended up in a gun battle with the kidnappers who were holding the mother here. 2 of the raiding police officers were injured during the shootout, and Rengifo ended up shooting one of the kidnappers with his M16.
Wow.
M16 they're going in. Like, this is like
American guns.
This is like Nam shit here. M16, think about what an 80s movie this is. Okay, 4-man raid with the guy who they captured leading the group. You can picture him with like his hands bound going, come on, asshole, as they push him, and he's like, okay, it's this way. They get there. 2 of his guys are injured, so he's down. He's shooting. He shoots a guy with an M16. It does a through and through out of the guy's body, because this is, that's
a powerful weapon.
It's a powerful weapon. Exits his body and pierces the propane tank that they have as their fuel source, causing a fucking hundreds of feet high mushroom cloud fireball. Only in an 80s movie does this happen.
He's like a belt-fed machine gun, and he's one hand and just rat-a-tat-ing.
Like Carl Weathers lost his one arm. He's fucking going at it with the other in Predator.
He's just throwing bullets through it.
That's what he's doing. I got to apologize to all shitty B-action 80s movie film directors who I said, this will never, who
Give
does
me one time.
Come on, a raid on a drug compound with a big shootout and a big fireball when the propane tank gets hit. Horseshit. No, it happened. It actually happened.
Tell me one goddamn time it happened.
They just predicted the future back then. That's all it is. They just predicted. So they were, even more, I apologize, they're fucking psychic. They're prescient motherfuckers. They knew exactly what happened here. So,
Next you're going to tell me you roll a car off a cliff and it explodes.
Yeah, come on. What's going to happen? It just gently rolls down, lands at the bottom, 2-second delay, and an explosion. That's what's going to happen here. I'm sure that happened too. So, another kidnapper kidnapper ends up being shot and wounded, and he ends up dying a day later. But he dies because his less from the bullet wound and more that while he was injured, his body was partially eaten by wild animals.
Wow.
Because he's in the jungle.
Amazing.
And if you're laying there bleeding, you are fair game for a lot of shit that wants to eat you.
And if you can't get away.
Yeah. So he was
gonna get you.
gnawed on by wild animals, and those wounds end up killing him. 2 other kidnappers escape. Mm-hmm. So one dead on the spot in a fireball explosion. Right. One shot and then eaten by animals. 2 escape through the jungle. Rengifo said, and this is okay. This is the best 80s shit that I've ever heard in my life.
He says,
here.
I'll be back.
Oh no, he doesn't. Listen to this. Is an 80s movie scene. If you saw this happen in an 80s movie, you would laugh out loud. You go, "Oh my god, that's amazing! That's so fucking cheesy." Quote: "The explosion was so powerful, I was knocked to the ground. The kidnapper's body flew into the air and landed on top of me."
Oh my god!
Not an easy undertaking at all.
This is ridiculous.
He shot the man. The bullet went with a machine gun.
Yeah.
The bullet went through him into a propane tank, causing a massive mushroom cloud fireball explosion that launched the kidnapper through the air on top of the guy who shot with the machine gun. This is fucking amazing. Oh my God.
It's either that or it's a horrible parody movie like Hot Shots.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is in real life. Yeah. No, even a parody movie, this is cheesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In Hot Shots, you'd be like, yeah, that is kind of like a B movie.
Sheen, this is stupid.
Holy shit. The kidnappers, a lot of them they were trying to flee, obviously. They found weapons and explosives at the site here. Officers, after all this, the 2 run away. One's getting eaten by animals. One is blown sky high like a cartoon, for Christ's sake. Like Yosemite Sam found the TNT fucking supply.
And he's orbiting the planet now.
Yeah, he's just orbiting with his face all, the front of his hat burned off and his face all full of soot. Mustache a little singed. So they get up to the building and they find his mom alive.
Wow.
She's actually there.
Unbelievable.
So they actually fucking do a crazy rescue with explosions.
Wild.
This is an 80s thing. So now they have
so rad.
And she's like not in good shape though. She's malnourished. She's
6
sick.
months.
So now they're carrying her through the fucking woods with injured men, through the jungle with anaconda and piranha and a hostage that they took, and a guy getting eaten by wild animals and a fucking explosion just smoldering, and this is insanity. Well, they carry a lady who's been held captive. This is fucking exciting. I'm sorry. This is goddamn exciting here. So wow. Now Urbina, when he knew that they were going in for the final stretch, he said, "Call me when you see her." And then he gets a call, and he drives right down to the police station, and his mom's there. Obviously, he's happy. She lost 50 pounds in captivity. So hopefully she was chunky to begin with, because otherwise that's what I mean. Yeah. She might be like, I've never felt better in my life. Look
at me.
It's the kidnapper diet.
You can see my figure now.
Before and after the kidnapper diet.
That's what I look like before you, son.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
I was just sitting around. I was fat and happy. I'm not going to lie to you. And then I was kidnapped by Colombian drug lords. Well, actually by a group of Venezuelan mercenaries who sold me to Colombian drug lords. And I got to say, after 6 months in captivity in a hillside mountain retreat in a jungle fortress, I look great. I look great. Rice and porridge it'll take it off of you.
My skin's never felt softer. So much humidity.
I feel great. And so if your son happens to be a millionaire, you
move to Caracas.
Get on and walk around the streets. You'll be kidnapped, and then hopefully they'll rescue you. They asked her.
Insist on a 6-month stay.
Insist. Say, I need 6 months. It's like a spa. Think of it as a spa. It's like, oof, they're really strict here. That's all. But you will lose 50 pounds.
You will.
So he says, Ugueth, they ask him about it. He said it's hard to talk about. No shit, obviously.
Oh, I'm sure.
Rengifo said it was a clean and well-planned operation, and that Villarreal is uninjured besides her malnutrition. They talk about that. She says that it was unexpected. She said, quote, "I never thought they would kidnap me." And they said, "How'd they treat you?" She said, quote, "You can't say they treated me either well or poorly. The most hurtful thing was having to bear them say that my son didn't love me because he wouldn't pay." away. So they kept telling her that over and over, like, obviously your son doesn't love you. I don't see any fucking money. Ugueth, when he gets his mom back, he kind of he doesn't talk to reporters. He says, quote, I'm happy, excuse me, but now I just want to see my mother. So fair enough. Leave the fucking guy alone here.
It's over.
It's over. He ends up sending his mother to Europe to recover physically and mentally.
Seek asylum, maybe?
There's some family in Europe that they have. So he sends her there, I'm sure, on like some French Riviera, spa treatment or something. Go
more quiet.
Sit somewhere nice and quiet and eat some food and relax here. He says that, he doesn't want her to come back to Venezuela. He wants her to stay in Europe, but he knows that she's going to insist on returning home to live because that's just how she is. He says, but she's going to be in Europe for a little while, so I don't have to worry about her for right now, at least. So that makes me feel good. So he right away sent her off to Europe, packed up, and ended up having to go back to the States to go for spring training. So he arrived at camp at 6 a.m.
Same with the Tigers now?
Yeah, had to go. So he says that the whole out of all of this, though, this makes Major League Baseball realize that they need to do something about this. Because they're like, okay, this is affecting our game. If these guys are constantly worried about their mothers being kidnapped, they're not going to play well, and they're not going to be.
Hard to think about CC's slider when you've got a family member sitting in fucking Bogota.
That's what I mean. So what they do is baseball ended up hiring Rengifo, the head of the anti-kidnapping unit, on a part-time basis right after this rescue.
Oh, he's just getting paid.
Oh yeah, he's a famous guy down there now. He was first apparently a resident security agent based in Venezuela. I guess each major league team, they said, has 2 resident security agents. And then in 2008, Renfigo was hired as a full-time major league employee and member of the Department of Investigations of Major League Baseball. So basically, he's down there to make sure that nobody's fucking parents get kidnapped. And then in 2009, Carlos Zambrano's mother was kidnapped.
So he did a great job.
You can't watch them all.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes, if you watch Raising Arizona, you get out of your sight. Sometimes there's too many.
That's what I mean. They wander off. It's like ducklings.
Right.
How many do we have? 8, 9? Shit, 9?
We got most of them.
The senior vice president of baseball's the Department of Investigation said that, quote, it was on our radar after the Urbina case. It wasn't a front burner issue. If you had asked me when the unit was formed in terms of priorities, we were concerned about kidnappings, but it wouldn't have been as high. It certainly is now.
Sure.
So that makes sense here. They also said that for years, let's talk about this group. It's called FARC, F-A-R-C, Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. In Spanish, it's FARC.
I was like, they were wrong.
Shit's different. Shit's in different order in Spanish, the way they say it.
I realized after you said it. So this is a different culture.
This completely different. Yes. They don't even speak English or nothing, man. It's totally different.
Not a hot dog to be found.
Fuck, dude. Nothing. Not at all, man. So they said that for years, Venezuelan cattlemen near the Colombian borders say that they were victims of extortion by this group.
Of course.
And this is the Venezuelan government's finally apparently recognizing that FARC is responsible for these crimes in Venezuela. Because before they'd be like, no, they're over there. They're not bothering us. So now they were forced to come out and say, okay, fine here. So according to the Colombians, Chiguero, the leader there, El Chiguero of FARC, he was involved in the exchange of drugs by weapons with Brazilian drug dealers, and he does all drugs and weapons all over the place here. It's pretty fucking crazy. They said that the Minister of Justice said that this El Chiguero was like one of the most dangerous fucking people that they found. It's like it would be like, they captured their Pablo Escobar of this little revolutionary group. Basically, he's just the leader, and they also were wondering who he really was since they arrested him. This guy, they initially identified him as a Gentile Alvis Patino, a guy with several aliases, and they ended up they ended up leading the Colombian government on an investigation, and he ends up being identified as a completely different person by then than they originally thought that he was. So he had a completely he apparently had he had a former associate in Colombia who he bought documents from and shit like that.
You can't do that in America.
No. Down there it's a little bit different down there. Here His identity, he was basically false. He had false documents identifying him as a Venezuelan citizen. So he was going back and forth. He said he ended up paying about $4,700 to get the documentation to be a different person in another country. So, very fucking weird
All
stuff.
All authentic shit. Incredible.
By the way, he still plays baseball.
Wow.
Ugueth. So he's got to go back and play baseball now for the Tigers.
Unbelievable.
Which is super weird. Which he does. It's weird too. He's not, he has a 2.63 ERA for the first part of the year with the Tigers, which is not too shabby if you think about it. 9 saves.
Happy.
I mean, his mom just got returned.
Right.
That's good.
Rescued.
But on June 8th, 2005, he's traded by the Tigers.
Now
he's got this shit to deal with. To the Phillies, he's traded with Ramon Martinez, Pedro's brother, ex-Dodger, a tall, lanky one.
I don't know.
He's super tall and lanky, and then Pedro's tiny and chunky.
And he has Pedro's face?
Super weird.
Okay.
Not really, kind of. He had a nice Jerry curl when he first came up. I'll tell you that much. Both of them did back in the early 90s there.
Pedro was a big fan of it.
Oh, yeah. He's traded to the Phillies for Placido Polanco. So, Placido Polanco, remember him?
I don't know.
I always called him Placido. I never liked him.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I never liked him. He was garbage. Garbage 240 hitter. Fuck out of here. Garbage hitting second baseman.
I can't see him. I don't know what he looks like.
Anyway, he goes to the Phillies here, which is, I don't know, fresh start, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he goes 4-3 in 56 games for the Phillies. So he only one save, though. He's a middle reliever here.
Okay.
52.1 innings. So they bring him in a very specific role here. He does make $4 million that year.
Jesus.
November 1st, 2005, he's granted free agency, and that's the last time he'll pitch in the majors.
Okay.
And we'll talk about why. But over his career, 44-49, 3.45 ERA, which is not too shabby at all. 237 saves, not too bad at all there. Pretty good. 697 innings and 539 hits. So
that's a World Series ring.
That's excellent. And a World Series ring, and he made about $29 million in his career.
Fucking real.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
He did pretty well for himself.
God, Jesus.
Made good, and got his mother back from Columbian revolutionary kidnappers.
From Caracas.
It's not too bad.
Wow.
He's doing well. November 8th, 2005. This is a week after he's granted free agency. So you might be thinking, okay, where am I going to go next year type of thing? Well, before I get into this article, I want to say something quickly when we get into this. This article... Okay, there's been a lot of, I don't know if you guys probably don't pay attention, but there's been so much talk lately in social media and in all sorts of places about certain podcasters plagiarizing.
Eesh.
And sometimes I get that people steal, like they'll take another podcast script.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's gross.
And just fucking copy it and do the same episode. That's obviously terrible.
Right.
But people are throwing around plagiarism really loosely.
Using the word.
Using the word, yeah.
Using the word just like about something that it's not really defined as.
Real fucking willy-nilly with the language. And I want to tell you something, because when we do it, I'll tell you exactly how I do this shit, if I attribute or not. If it's a fact that is in every publication, it's everywhere. This person went to court on this day. He was found guilty. Blah, blah. You don't need to attribute that, because it's a Wire article. It's a fucking AP article. It's put out in everything. There's no author attributed to it. It's just information.
It's just facts.
That's put on a thing that's for everybody, basically. That's how it works. Then you can use that in your shit to build your own article if you want to make more out of it. So there's those articles. The ones that you have to attribute are either if it's a book, or if it's an investigative piece where somebody went on their own and got that information specifically where no one else had it. Like we had a Daily News article like that, and we say this is from the Daily News because they did a really good job of going in and getting information no one else had. Believe me, I looked for it.
So you cite the work of the guy that took the AP article and went and wrote a fucking article.
Well, he didn't. He just did his own article. He didn't even cite the AP article.
Okay, my point is he has those facts and then he builds a story around it. Right.
So let me talk about what we're going to talk about in a second here. I'll tell you where this comes from. And that's just different. Or if someone has particular prose knows in the beginning of an article about something, and they're saying, you know, something particular about the way they're setting the scene, and you read that word for word. Yeah, that's cheesy.
Yeah.
But this article, it's an ESPN article. It's on ESPN.com, and at the top of it, it says ESPN.com News Services. That's where it's from. No author. Then at the end of it, it says, quote, the Associated Press and Reuters contributed to this report. Right. How the fuck do you cite that? You don't. It's just a fucking Wire article. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's fucking enraging that people will say that some people are plagiarizing when it's something like that. Right. That's not plagiarizing. No. That's information that everybody has. And guess what? Some of these fucking articles, you know what they're doing? They're just copying the court document for facts and then pasting it on there with, a quote from the DA or something. Then someone else will quote, like a podcast will quote court documents, and you'll say that we're fucking quoting the article. No, we're all quoting the source, which is the goddamn fucking court documents that don't belong to anybody. We all pay taxes to see that shit.
Public information,
you don't. As a reporter, it doesn't give you any fucking warrant or any dominion over these court documents. We all have equal say to them. So it's bullshit. Most people, it's just the things that people call stealing are using common information. That's not reporting. Listen to the fucking shows and mind your own fucking business.
That's essentially taking a comic that has a premise and another comic that has a premise, and then saying, and then the same premise, different punchline. Then you're saying, well,
plagiarizing.
It's
different.
It's a different thing.
It's saying that the premise of I have a kid,
right?
Because that's a premise that anybody can really use that premise. Right. That's fine. When you say I have a kid that then it's yours. That's the point. You went and took it down your own fucking thing.
Right.
What you're doing is you're feeling super bad for like the New York Times or NBC or places like that. If anyone has a problem, they'll fucking sue.
But promise.
One thing giant media conglomerates really are good at is fucking suing for copyright and suing for shit like that. They love to fucking do that.
The whole reason they copyright
shit. They love it. Look at YouTube. So much shit's taken down based on these big networks. They have a lot of power to do that. They will sue. Yeah. Let them worry about it.
Yeah.
If there is any plagiarizing on them, they'll fucking do it.
Absolutely.
They don't need you to fucking say anything about it. That's my point. Okay. Sorry.
Did NBC put out a tweet saying, hey, all podcast listeners, please point out plagiarism?
I don't think they did. I don't think anybody has. I don't think they ever fucking asked for your help.
We have a team of lawyers that can't find the plagiarism.
No, we can't do it.
Podcast listeners, please find it for us.
Go on Reddit and fucking collate the shit for me and put it in a fucking Excel sheet. People are making Excel sheets, dude. I've seen them. They're fucking out of their minds. Get a fucking life. Get a life. I'm not kidding.
Honestly. Or at minimum, a goddamn job.
If someone is stealing from a podcast that you like and they stole their whole script and they took it, then fuck say call them out on it.
Rail on them.
That podcast, the smaller podcast, isn't a giant media conglomerate with lawyers that'll sue. So then that might be the only recourse.
Right.
But if it's a fucking giant thing, they'll handle it if it's plagiarism. Otherwise, they're just retelling the story. That's it.
Which is completely okay to do.
Which is fine. You're allowed to retell a common
story.
Especially if it comes from court doc. And never mind. So you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
Relax, everybody. So with that said, the violence here breaks out this night. Okay, November 8th, 2005. A little bit of violence happening here. This is about 25 miles south of Caracas. Urbina. It's at Urbina's house.
Yeah.
It's one of his mother's houses that she keeps that he's down there. Apparently here, this is fucking interesting. Wow. Okay. Apparently a bunch of workers there showed up at the ranch and they were in the pool without permission. They were, quote, bathing in the pool, they keep saying. I don't know if that's a way of they were swimming. Yeah, just in South America.
They aren't in there with soap and
No,
shit.
That's what I mean. It wasn't like they're in there scrubbing their armpits with a big oversized brush. You know what I mean? Like they're in a tub.
Like a little Abner.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, Urbina says that he yelled at them. He, quote, spoke sharply to them.
Yeah.
And then he went inside and went to sleep. That's how it went. But there's another story there. Apparently, there was a welcome home party for him. He had come down there, Ugueth, and they all gave him a welcome home party. He went out to eat. He returned about 2 a.m. with several people out to his farmhouse here. It's the one his mother was kidnapped from. It's that one. And according to one of the farm workers, basically, Urbina started asking about a firearm that he thinks has disappeared from the house.
Yeah.
And He accuses apparently this Ricardo Osal, a 21-year-old worker here. He says that Urbina started rounding up the other workers to ask them about this. Now, 5 of these, Winkler Gallegos, Ricardo Osal, Mikel Enchenique, and Argenis Fabreus, Tony Rodriguez, and Bernardo Navarros. These guys here, apparently, Urbina rounded them up and beat them. Then he attacked them with a machete.
Oh, boy.
And then him and his cohorts splashed gasoline and paint thinner on them and began to set them on fire as they attacked them with machetes. They doused them.
You began to, or they did?
They were.
Okay. They were lighting them on fire.
They were, that was the beginning. They attacked them with machetes, started pouring paint thinner after they were beating them, paint thinner and gasoline on them. And
for one weapon.
And then lighting them on fire and then continuing to attack them with machetes. And the guys, they would light them on fire and then they would jump in the pool to put themselves out.
Wow.
And then they would get out, they'd pull them out, and then they'd light them on fire again. This happened repeatedly, allegedly apparent, according to these people here. Gallegos had bruises on his face and ribs. Osal received 300 stitches to close machete wounds on his back and 150 stitches to repair severed tendons in his hands from machete wounds. Echenique guy here, he had minor injuries and several contusions. Farias had fractures in his nose and cheekbone. Rodriguez had burns on his neck and his right ear, as well as injuries to his face and eyes. He also suffered a knife cut on his right arm and a perforated eardrum. Navarro had burns on approximately 50% of his body.
Damn it.
They fucking burned that man alive, man. He survived it. He says, Osal says afterwards that Urbina told him that he was going to kill all of them and bury them underneath his ranch. And at that point, he left them all for dead and they were all bleeding on the ground. And he said that Urbina says as he walked away, quote, "He'll be the first one we bury." He said to one of his cohorts here. The Rodriguez victim here, he recalls that after Urbina's friends were setting them on fire using gasoline and paint thinner, they were allowing them to jump into the pool to extinguish the flames and then get back out so they could set them on fire again. Because it's no fun to have them burning. It's only fun to set the fire, Jimmy.
Over and over and over.
Yeah. Police were called to the ranch the next morning, and Urbina claimed he knew nothing of the event at all.
What happened?
He says, "I don't know what you're talking about." He says that all those guys that you're talking about, they were all drinking since 3:00 in the afternoon the previous day, and the story was coming from they're all extremely drunk. So if they all fell down and set themselves on fire from being drunk, it's not my fault. I don't know anything about it. I went out there, I yelled at them for being in the pool, and I went in and went to sleep.
That's a hell of a story.
I don't know shit. Yeah, they set themselves on fire and attacked each other with machetes.
Karackin' jackass. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's a new show down here. They're doing it.
They were jumping into fan blades and shit.
You know, you just set each other on fire and then you jump in the pool. You see how many times a guy can be set on fire and extinguished. So they said he's got to appear before a judge here. His lawyer, Jose Luis Tamayo, Urbina's lawyer, says he was sleeping at the time. He's not involved in any of this. He knows nothing of what happened. One of the victims, Farias, accused Urbina of being among the attackers. A bunch of them named him at that point. His lawyer, his defense lawyer, says, quote, "This, of course, can some way hurt his career as a professional ball player." I would fucking think so.
I would hope it would affect his career of anything.
I would, anything. If you got a guy who machete attacks people and sets them on fire.
I hope him as a baggage handler is fucking ruined.
Yeah, let's not let him handle anybody's baggage.
He's touching my suitcase.
He's going to always send it to Cleveland or Omaha, and it's going to be very depressing. My clothes will be depressed. Somehow my shirt will hang itself. I don't know how it'll do it. See, that's it
might be positive.
Yeah, it could be positive either way. So, they said it'll depend on depend on the way in which he's brought to justice. Now, Urbina was with his mother after this whole thing here, and he called the arrest inexplicable. He said, "I don't know what they're talking about. I
can't believe this.
Yeah, this is ridiculous." Tamayo, his lawyer, said, "Aside from whether a person is guilty of a crime or not, if there is no danger of flight or obstruction of justice, that person has a right to be tried while free. So he's saying that he shouldn't be held while he's, being tried. The lawyer also said that Urbina's cooperated with everything. He even came to the police voluntarily to give a statement. This is ridiculous. I don't understand it. Right. So he says, let's do it in their own words here.
Oh boy.
What do you say? Let's do it in their own words on what he says from jail, which is interviewed from his jail cell. Let's see what he says. In their own words, quote, I love my country, but here there are people that love money. It's every country. What do they gain from this? They say that it was me so that they can get money. You understand? These are people that live simply, let's say. So by them saying it was me, they could somehow gain and take money from all of this. I'm trying to find a solution to this problem and clear my name as much as possible so that people can see I had nothing to do with this problem. So that's his, I'm innocent, damn it.
Okay.
I didn't do nothing.
I don't know that I believe you, but okay.
Yeah, Richard Osal, one of the victims, he said, he's the guy who was burned over 50% of his body. He said, quote, what we want is justice for him to pay with jail time. He says, we're not looking for any type of financial arrangement, nothing that has anything to do with money. We don't want them to offer us money, and we're not asking for any money. Okay. He just wants him to go to jail.
Well, that ruins his argument.
Yeah. Phillies general manager Pat Gillick said, released him in a nick of time, and he did a jig. They asked him about it, and he said, I don't know. I heard about it, but I have no reaction. He's no longer a part of the Phillies organization. Have a good one. Goodbye. Click. See ya. Fuck off.
We're looking to rebuild.
Not my problem.
Right.
Ask whoever's commissioner now, because that's their fucking problem. I don't know shit. Also in 2005, right after this happens, Ugueth Jr. moves with his mother to Spain to get away from, I'm sure, being Ugueth Jr. At this point, because it's not a good look. Now, in court, he goes to court. This goes to full trial. Yeah. Same as his last thing with the gun and all that sort of thing. The verdict is, you'd think he's rich down there, too. He's guilty of attempted murder.
Oh, shit.
Attempted murder, also found guilty of illegal deprivation of liberty and violating a prohibition against taking justice into your own hands.
That's a prohibition?
They literally have a law that says you will not take justice into your own hands. If someone steals, you can't go, exact revenge. You have to call the cops. It's called the law everywhere else. Duh. You don't need a special law to say that you can't fucking be a vigilante in the streets.
We prohibit it.
Yeah, just by having the same laws.
There's a prohibition of it.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So he's awaiting sentencing at this point. He's sitting there, and by the way, I've seen there's the footage of that interview in jail. He has a fucking Ed Hardy hat on still in fucking jail.
Oh, Jesus. How 2006.
Oh, dude, in a filthy Venezuelan prison.
This like shit, a tiger and jewels in the tiger's mouth.
Yeah, and you knew there was going to be cameras. They probably put him in the best cell they had just so it didn't look so fucking bad. He's sitting there. It's a disaster. They have bugs. It's worse than Tiger Stadium, basically. It's worse than Tiger Stadium. Imagine the stink. Imagine the toilet.
Oh, Jesus.
Do you think the plumbing's good in there,
it's
Jimmy?
Horrible.
It's probably horrible. And as a matter of fact, while he's in there, man bursts into his cell door, and it's Paul Calhoun, shit pipe enthusiast. He's there to fix the pipes, and he says, how is it you come to arrive here, guy? I gotta tell you, in terms of literal and figurative shit pipes, yours are as clogged as they get, pal. I got people stealing your fucking mother. What's that about? I don't know, maybe move her to fucking Florida or something. What do you say there, guy? Maybe try that out for a shot. Then you're jerking off with this. What the fuck are you doing, machetes? Kick him off the fucking property. What's wrong with you, huh? What did they mess up your shit pipes? Did they flush a cherry bomb down the toilet? Because if they did that, those fucking bastards deserved every fucking thing they got. I'll tell you that. But they didn't do that, did they? No.
It's a propane tank.
It's a propane tank. You know what I'd say? I'd clean your shit pipes and smack your wife. But I have a feeling she's already got enough fucking problems now. She took your kid to fucking Europe. I can't even. How long are my arms? I'm going to smack her from fucking Europe? I can't do that.
Perfect.
You're a piece of shit. Let me tell you something. And I'm going to clean you and then flush you. How's that? Poof. And a poof of shit pipes and toilet
plungers.
snakes and plungers. He's gone.
Yeah.
And Ugueth is very confused.
Sure.
He's trying to put it together with the English that he spoke. He's not real good with it still, so he's trying to go, what the fuck did that guy just say? He's scrambling through his Venezuelan to English dictionary or whatever. So he's awaiting sentencing. March 28th, 2007 is sentencing here. So he's about to be sentenced to a Venezuelan prison.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is not fucking great, let's just say.
He's guilty.
It's almost 2 years after it happened, too. It's a year and a half later, so he's already done that as time served.
Right.
So they say, you, sir, may fuck off 14 years.
Oh, Jesus.
In a Venezuelan prison.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
That's a lot of years in a Venezuelan.
That's what prohibition will get you.
Yeah,
They prohibit it. They are not fucking around.
Do not take justice into your own hands by attempting murder. That was enough. Attempted murder is good. That's what he did.
What justice did he take? Disturbing the peace?
The guy stole from him.
Oh, that's right.
So he exacted a revenge of
Jesus.
So you have to tell people that rather than just say you can't fucking attempted to murder people. I think that's enough right there. His lawyer says, quote, the ruling was too severe. Urbina still denies any involvement in the violence. He said he was sleeping at the time of the attack. This is ridiculous. His lawyer said that Urbina surprised the workers. The workers did not expect him there. They were in the pool without permission. Urbina just yelled at them and went to sleep. That's all there is. Attorney for the accusers said, quote, justice has been served. He indicated that his clients will seek damages in civil court.
Of course they will now.
Do. It's like, now, fuck it. If I can get some money, I guess we will. Not bad. One of the lawyers for the victim said, quote, we think it is an excellent sentence. The victims consider this an important example that anyone with power, influence, and money is not above the law. Yeah. It's an example for the entire world, not just for Venezuela, that everyone is on equal ground when it comes to law and justice. So he says, there is an appeals process here in Venezuela, and we're prepared to answer if they decide to take that route. Now that the criminal case is concluded, we're prepared to take the case to the civil side, and we will seek damages. The victims have gotten better, but the psychological impact remains.
Of course. Yeah.
So
it's going to hang around for a while.
Going to be there a little bit
he
here.
Set me on fire.
He's and attacked me with a machete, and then said he'll bury me first.
My tendons were cut.
You know how that goes. He had 450 stitches total, that guy.
Boy.
The one guy. So 2009, Ugueth Jr., who had been moved to Spain with his mom, that one. He pitches in the Spanish minor leagues over there.
Really?
At CB Sant Boy, at FC Barcelona, and some other place here. And in 2009, he pitched in the Major League Baseball European Academy.
Oh.
So it's kind of like a scouting thing for European talent over there. His fastball peaks out at 88 miles an hour there, which isn't terrible, but it's good enough to get him signed by the Seattle Mariners in 2011. Really? Some scouts signed him there. He was pitching in Spain at the time. He ends up in 2012 coming over and pitching for Seattle's a bunch of rookie league teams. He pitched for rookie ball in Arizona a couple years, in the Appalachian League for a year. Ends up pitching for 4 years in Seattle. Never makes it past the very rookie, the rookie level, not even into like double or triple A or anything like that. Pitched a total of 140 innings and had a 4.31 ERA. But when he was 17, his ERA was 2.44. And then by the time he's 20, it's up to 7.20.
It spiked a bit.
So there's a problem there. Yeah. And he ends up doing about that. Now, 2010, Juan, his first son, begins playing for the Mets organization. He plays 4 seasons for the Mets organization, never making it past A-ball. But both his kids got signed to play professional baseball. And so not bad.
Played more than I did.
Yeah, they just didn't quite have his dad's fastball. That's the problem. That's the difference.
Right.
You could want it as much as you want.
Right.
Pitching is like comedy a lot. Like you can want it as much as you want, and you can outwork everybody. You can go out there every day and hit that fucking strike zone and do those open mics, and you can do it. But if you don't have the talent to throw 98 miles an hour in the first place, it really doesn't fucking matter how accurate you throw the fucking ball and how much you practiced, because that's
still going to end up 50 working at a pizza joint doing open mics.
The fucking gold is the gold, babe. That's it. It's you either got it or you don't. And you know what? It's work as hard as you want. So December of 2012, He's been in his sentenced for 5 years, been in about 6.5. He's released from prison on a 14-year term.
Fuck out.
They release him super early. It's very shady.
Yeah.
Released because of, quote, good behavior. They say during his time in prison, he started 3 charitable organizations in an effort to rehabilitate his image.
We don't prohibit that hard.
That's it's so strange that you can start charities from prison. You don't hear that happening much.
No, it's
I don't know
very
if you're
rare.
allowed to get tax-exempt status from prison. I don't know if that's possible to do. Super weird. They speculated, the newspapers down there, that he said he keeps saying in interviews while from prison that he's still in playing shape and he's going to try to make a comeback, is what he says.
Is he out of his fucking mind?
The Leones del Caracas, his hometown Winter League team, their spokesman, Jose Manuel Fernandez, said in an interview that he expected Urbina to visit several friends and former teammates, including Bobby Abreu, the former Yankee in Philly, at the stadium, and he thought Urbina had been spending some time with his family, and he said they don't know if he's serious about a comeback, but if he is, he would not be opposed to letting him throw a bullpen session for a chance to play next season. He said, this is Ugueth's team in Venezuela. He understands that, but we don't know his plans. Remember, we're talking about someone who spent many years in jail. I'm sure his perspective has changed, but we'll see if he wants to play. His former agent, Peter Greenberg, who at the time wasn't his agent while he was in prison, he said that he would be open to representing Ugueth again. He just attacked a guy with a machete and set them all on fire. No problem. Wow.
There's money in it, though. Let's have a talk.
Hey, let's have a chat. Fuck it. It was down there.
Right.
So no one saw pictures of those guys.
He never did anything in America.
It's not like he did it in a surveillance camera in an elevator in a hotel. Right. That would have been much different. Obviously, then he would never be able to play again. But
lighting people on fire at the hotel pool.
He did it at a farm in 25 miles outside of Caracas. No problem. That's easy. So he says, this will, if he can pitch in Venezuela, will mean if he can pitch in the majors, obviously. And so obviously his image is a little fucked up at this point, too. He says he doesn't know if the fans would welcome him back. Obviously, how would you know? Right. So the representative for the Venezuelan team said, quote, everybody knows that fans are very demanding here in Venezuela, especially here in Caracas. We'll just have to see how he's received. Mm-hmm. So that's it. His son says, finally with my father, on a Twitter post here. So photo of him and his dad out of prison. Yeah. It's all jacked here. Bobby Abreu said, quote, I'm very happy because my buddy is currently free. Anyone knows him well, knows his humanity regardless of the incident. I love and respect him a lot, regardless of attacking people with machetes and setting them on fire and that sort of thing. You know how that goes. And firing guns out his window. So the manager of the Caracas Venezuelan Winter League team said he would welcome Urbina on the team. He said he's already paid his debt to society. This is his home. Our doors are open to Ugueth Urbina. He is a lion.
Okay.
A lion.
I don't know what that means.
He's a fucking lion.
Yeah.
He's a fighter.
Charlie Sheen said he had tiger blood. I don't think it's positive to have feline. Any
he's got lion blood apparently, and it makes you.
Is that better? Is that a better Adonis?
I never heard of Sheen attacking anybody with a machete, so maybe that's possible. Who knows? I mean,
well, that's because if he slips and cuts himself, then they have AIDS.
That's the truth. Yeah, no one wants to. None of his buddies are like, "Hey, Charlie, put the machete down. You work the paint thinner.
Right.
How's that? You work the gas and the paint thinner, Charlie. We'll do the bladed objects.
You run the super soaker full of unleaded.
That's
How's
perfect.
That?
Yeah, you can keep about 20 feet back from sharp things. So, Jesus Christ, his family, his kids, that must be shitty to be them at this point. And his mom got kidnapped. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people to feel bad for here, Jimmy. And I feel bad for all these people, but not nearly as bad as I feel for, there's no other Ugueth Urbina. I'm sorry. Jesus. I just wanted to see the look on your face as you went, no fucking better way. No, there isn't. I looked hard and far and wide. There might be one in like the jungles of Venezuela somewhere, but I can't find
somebody named after him that's not old enough to break the law yet.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
So 2012, he's pitching again.
Okay.
December of 2012, he returned after. This is like a week after he gets out of jail. He's pitching. He served 7 years for attempted murder. Obviously, he goes to play for the Lions of Caracas. That's why he's a lion. They're the Lions.
Got it.
He's a lion.
Yeah.
He's one of. Okay, never mind.
He's sticking with us because we're the Lions.
We're the Lions, and he's one too. Mm-hmm. Like he's a Raider. Right. He's a Bronco.
Yeah.
Urbina
throws on a Lions hat.
That's right there. He described himself as more mature now outside of prison because he's also in his late 30s, which will make you more mature. He says he's very excited to play baseball again. He said, quote, "I'm excited to be here. Can't wait." So good for him. Yeah. It's amazing that he got out. That's fucking wild. He says that he would like to play Major League Baseball again. He says, quote, "The first order of business is pitching in Venezuela." He pitched a scoreless sixth inning on his first shot back there, striking out one and walking one. So steps right in just fine in his first game for Venezuela. 2013, he sold his condo. He had a condo in Florida, Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. It was a 3,945 square foot unit in Ocean 3 condo complex or whatever. He sold it, or he bought it for $1.22 million in 2003 when he moved to Florida there, and he ended up keeping it. And he sold the condo in 2013 for $1.9 million. Okay, so he made almost $700,000 on the process there. It matured while he was in prison. Yeah, very nice.
It matured like he did.
Yeah, I matured along with my real estate. So he called it a delayed bonus from his time in Miami. Basically, it's a $700,000 fucking bonus from the team. And right now he's sitting in Venezuela trying not to get kidnapped, guarding himself with paint thinner and a machete.
Unbelievable.
And can't get enough of Ugueth Urbina. You can go on. There's all sorts of memorabilia shit. I found an Amazon on Amazon.com 1998 Stadium Club card for like $1, $3.25 shipping if you want a card. Then I found grayflannelauctions.com, and that's gray with an E, like the British one, is a game-worn Expos jersey from 97, which is pretty cool. I can't tell the price because the website was being all funky with me, but it exists and it's there. And if you really want to have
a World Series champ.
Yeah, if you want a Road Expos 97 jersey of a World Series champ who also sets people on fire.
It's kind of cool.
After he attacks them with a machete.
For no fucking reason.
For no reason. This is your guy. For a possible missing firearm.
Maybe.
And he was drunk, so he could have just put it somewhere and forgot. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. None of the guys, they never said that the gun was ever recovered from any of these people.
They never had it.
They never had it.
No.
He just freaked out and wanted to show off in front of his friends or some shit. But that's Ugueth Urbina. That is crime in sports. Insanity, as you might be able to tell.
What a story.
What a fucking mess, right? Jesus Christ.
Unreal.
He was the rags to riches fucking hero of the country, and then he just says, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to fuck everything
I think
up.
that fuck prohibition.
Yeah, never mind.
I like taking justice in my own hands.
I feel like doing today. I woke up. I was going to go out for breakfast, but then I said, you know what? I can go out for later. I'll go out for lunch, maybe brunch, but for now I'm going to take justice into my own hands, I think, first. I know it's against the law, but I'm going to do it.
I know
anyway.
It's prohibited.
It's fine. I'll do it anyway. So that is crime in sports.
Wow.
And if you like that, tell us about it by going over to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever that purple goddamn icon is, and writing us a review. Give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say.
No.
Say you're following instructions, following directions. Really doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. It is not for our ego. It's just to drive us up the charts, and we don't know why it does, but it drives us up the charts, man. So there's that. You can do that. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Please do.
For everything crime in sports and small town murder. All sorts of merchandise up, any kind of information you want, tickets to live shows, full slate of small town murder shows going to the end of the year, and a lot of them are sold out.
Yeah.
They're starting to sell out like crazy now. Awesome. So it's really great. So if you want to come see a show, come see us. There's a few tickets left in San Diego for small town murder. It was under 50 tickets last I saw.
It's close.
Out of a pretty big venue too. So you want to get those, and then LA had a few left too, but they're
going fast.
They're going faster.
Get there and buy them.
Get them and buy them, and then like Kansas City, St. Louis sold out,
Done.
Pittsburgh sold out, Dallas sold out, Milwaukee they found a few tickets and released them.
What is that?
They were like holds. Like they had 50 tickets held. Like we have
just sitting there with them.
Well, that's like for us in case we want. Well, we don't know 50 people in fucking Milwaukee. I don't know. In case you have family, it's like well, we don't. What are we from Milwaukee? Neither of us us are from Wisconsin. How the hell would we have 50 family members in Wisconsin? That would be impossible. So now you can buy our Wisconsin family tickets. Be our Wisconsin family and buy those damn tickets. But yeah, go check all that out. And you can also Fright from there, get all your merchandise, and follow us on social media. It's at Crime and Sports on Twitter, at Crime and Sports on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram, just because it's easier to do it all at once.
Sure.
There, you can want to make a donation. Let's say you want to be a hero. You want to be one of our producers, who we're going to talk about in a second here. That can be done so easily.
Yeah.
How easily can that be done?
Oh,
easy.
It's so easy.
So
you can
easy.
do it over there at patreon.com.
/ Crime and Sports.
That's the one.
Or you can head over to PayPal. Use our email address, which is
crimeandsports@gmail.com.
That's the fucking one. You can find both of those right from shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's
links.
the one.
It's all there, guys. It's all there. And with that said, you know what? I've been waiting 2 hours now, and I can't wait anymore. Tell me the group of people who I'm going to love and dream about and say prayers about, even though I don't pray. Tell me who they are, Jimmy. I want to know now.
This week's executive producers are Siobhan Brogan, Yvette Moore, Chris Borland, Lisa Cooper, Ellie Kamek. She's the one in Texas. She upped her donation quite a bit. Thank you, Ellie.
Jesus, thank you so much.
Holly McKee and Susan DeGuia. And then other producers this week are Lindsay Trogdon, who was donated in her name. So thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Liz Nice Slice Smith, Erica Anderson, Amanda Davis, Pilo, Peyton Meadows, Carissa Lindquist, Erica Anderson, I said that. Shane with no last name, Gary Dugdale, Alyssa Woodwick, Aaron B with no B, that's her last name. B. Roland Mitchell Ring, Haley Weihe, Travis Tim, Robin Brown Gallahan, Tara Jenkins, Elizabeth with no last name, Sharon Carter, Gina Vanda Zandschloop. Yes, Jenna Vandersloop. Cameron Wood, Pam Valieri. Yep. Robert Sackett, TBA 9363.
Okay.
To be announced.
Okay, sounds good.
Christina Webb,
Thank you.
Alex Browning, Joy Pearson, Sierra Ford. I think it's an E. I don't know what I wrote.
Ford with an E?
I think so.
Okay.
Brendan Abels, Carrie Gage, Cleo McAllister, James Burchio, Chandel Elizabeth Papil, Erica Geisler, Jason Hamming, Tara Nussbaum, Liz Nelson, Sally Norris, Audrey Martinuzzi, Amy Conley, Derek Voth, Eve Fry, Greg Gottlieb donated both ways. Thank you, Greg. David Barnhart, Jamie Malici, Ben Kreis, Timothy Sparling, Sherry Sammons, Kayla Marquardt. Yes. Alicia Massey, Ashley Furman, Joe Moran, Robin Anderson. I think I said that. Thank you. I think she donated twice.
Well, shit.
No,
thank
it's
you.
A different Anderson.
Well,
never mind.
We appreciate all the Andersons here.
Anjanette Mazlewski.
Anjanette? That's a tough name when they give you the same name twice. Anjanette. And then a long last name, too.
Shelby Graham, Jill Osborne, Isla Vainel, Tina Prusy, Jeremy Binder, Ashlyn Riggets, Jilly Ann Osborne, Frances Hitsky. She's in Europe.
Oh,
and
thank
she is
you.
Wilkie. She went to CrimeCon. She's all into this crime stuff.
Thank you,
Frances. Mariah Jensen. Yeah. Tom Wilkie, Paul Ruest. That's Paul.
Hey, Paul. We know Paul.
Krista
Thanks, Paul.
Oliver, Bob Beaupre, Joseph Peter Morin. Joseph Peter Morin. That's what it is. Or Moran. One of the two. Emily Thibault. See, it's Emilee. That's why it fucked me. Emily.
Yeah,
that's Emily though.
Thibault. That's an Emily.
Destiny Turner, Sierra Plotz, Celinda Calling, Jay Burchio, Thomas Smith, Carly Headland, Rebecca Kuhn, that's it. It looks like an I, sorry. Jessica Lambert and Holly Davidson, thank you very much. Olivia Saccomondi, Gary Howard again, Miguel with last name. Gary, you're the best. Dwayne Battiata, Sarah McCullough, Cindy Biddle, Chandel Whitney. Thank you, Chandel. She has a daughter that's in the service.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Episodes
Thank you so
ago.
much. Appreciate that. I remember that story. Thank you.
Cleo McAllister, Rachel Cascaden, both ways. She donated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul Hopkins. Home stretch. Here we go. Veronica Kelly, Timothy Hart, Shadia Sheridan, Dominique Wells, Tyler Sheets, Lisa Jensen, Abdul Jan, Andrew Crenshaw, Jordan Bennett again. Thank you.
Thanks,
Ashley Vio.
See you in more shows, Jordan.
We'll see you there. Yeah. Jude Kendall, Stephen Rude, who came out to Omaha. Thank you, Stephen.
It's good to see you,
Samantha Diffendaffer, Justin Miller, Maribel Leal, David Albery, Janine Walter, Colorado Dragonfly. I don't think that's a first name.
Probably not, name. But I think something.
It's something out there. Find it. Emily Warwick, Emily Tincher, Laura Lafreniere, I think, Lonnie Hall, Kelly Wilson, Jenna Strong, and happy birthday to Amber from Jenna.
Cool. Happy birthday, Amber.
There you go. Liz Vasquez, thanks for coming out, Liz.
Yeah,
it was good to see you,
Liz.
Thank you. Aaron Davis, Brittany Hart, Lauren Demarath, Louise Rayfield, Ryseyev Sergey, Anthony Canella, Jesse Hartman, and all of our Patreon supporters. You guys are the fucking best.
Thank you, everybody, for everything you do. We are just blown away by all the support you guys give us.
It's really wild.
And thank you for spreading the crime and sports word also. It's been going up lately because you guys have been spreading the word, and we can't thank you enough for that. That means the world to us. That's the best way to get people to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
It's hard to advertise for a podcast because you don't know who listens to them and stuff. But if you have friends,
trust the people that like what they like.
If you have friends, if you know people that you think they might like this, and you think that, tell them about it. Point them in the right direction. Go,
Absolutely.
Look at these guys. Grab their phone.
Yeah.
Go to their podcast app. Fucking subscribe to them.
There you go.
They might not do it but if you subscribe to it and they see it pop up, they might go, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll listen.
Bob over there put that in my phone.
Shit, I'd like to hear them make fun of Tanya Harding. I remember Jake the Snake Roberts, and then it happens. So it's good stuff. What if somebody wanted to grab your phone and find you? How would they find you, Jimmy?
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And I like everything that you guys send me, everything that you get. All the cases that you want to send them to the email.
Yeah, send them to crime and sports.
I can jot them down and bring them to James, and he'll lose the paper, or he probably won't be able to read my writing. That's what'll happen.
We'll figure it out.
So send it to the email. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny, or you can just copy and paste my name from the show description into whatever search engine you're looking for, and you can find me that way because it's probably easier than trying to copy and paste and spell and all that shit. So with that said, guys, thank you for joining us again. We're super excited. We can't wait to come back every goddamn week live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.